decide which direction I need to go to be more visible.
That's the idea of the console test STRAM. So, anyway. A kind day to you all. I am Kinsmarck.
I'm Violeta.
And consider this another console test stream.
Wow.
To hash out the cons of streaming the console. This is Soul Calibur 5. I like this game.
Wow. The puns were real and terrible.
Did you get the other one I threw in there?
Yes.
Consider
Consider the cons of streaming Soul Calibur.
I'll see myself out.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
So,
exactly that. Pizza Boy says hi.
Cheers.
So, that means chat is up and working.
Cool. So I decided, again, to conduct a stream, just another fighting game that I haven't any need to concern myself with, like, story or something like that, continuity, anything. I can just jump straight in, have some fun, and hash out some more of the, the mechanics of streaming from a console, because I'm all about, getting details correct, and I like to make sure, prior to committing to any long-term series, that I know how to do it and that I'm doing it properly. So that's why y'all may notice that I cropped the camera a little, such that it isn't taking up as much of the screen. However, we show up a little larger in it. I hope that's coming across properly. The preview looks like it is. I changed the capture rate as far as the actual streaming of data, so that it should show up, and it looks like on the preview, I can confirm it is, a little smoother for you guys, because I checked over a lot of the footage of the previous console test stream, and it did get a little jittery at times. You guys assured me that it was acceptably smooth. For my perfectionism, however, it wasn't always. Most of the time it was. I just wanted to fix it as much as I should. So, lighting I know isn't perfect. I prefer for this kind of setup to have lights and stuff on around us. Although at some point I may actually test putting a spotlight on us and shutting the larger light down, just to see how that affects the image. Especially for when we do, as she so adamantly desires, a console stream series of all the Devil May Cry games. That was just with a darker, high contrast lighting setup.
I don't care what he says; it's happening.
I'm putting ideas forward, so clearly I'm on with this.
I'm very excited about that, by the way.
I feel like that would fit the aesthetic theme a little more.
So too.
So anyway, let me know how, especially because this is something that I can't experience for myself, even in the testing, how the audio levels are compared to one another. Like a game audio compared to commentary audio. If y'all can't hear anything in game, if it's ideal, if you can hear just enough and also hear me, or
if we're too loud,
or if it's drowning me out, because I have adjusted some audio levels.
Whatever it is.
My audio, mathematically, should come through at double the volume of the game audio. So I should, remain clear.
Yep.
I can't promise that, though, so that's the purpose of the test.
Yep. So Pyro says, another early stream? Who are you, and what have you done with Kin and Vi? Menthius is here. Shield is here. So we have Pizza, we have Pyro, we have Menth, and Shield.
All right, cool.
We've got a nice turnout, even though it's early on a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
And another purpose to streaming this particular game is, as I mentioned in the last stream, I have a certain fondness for a particular aspect of this game, which, for those who aren't aware, is a competitive fighting game the likes of Tekken, except with weapons, pretty much. And one can actually create one's own characters in this one through the creation menu.
And we like to do that.
I absolutely adore creating...
I should say, it's not it's love.
I've spent more time doing this than I have actually playing the campaign of this game. So I've made some of our characters from tabletop games. I've also made a lot of analogs of characters from established games, anime, manga, and I'm incredibly proud of them. Some of them are actually some of the iconics of tabletop games. And I'd love at some point, just because I have put so much time into these, and I do feel like some people would get a kick out of seeing them, I've had the idea to create some videos showcasing some of the characters that I've made. I'm just not sure how to format those. Like if people would like to see a full detailed tutorial of like how to piece to piece to piece to piece to piece to color to palette all of those characters. If they just want to see them in motion, in action, see the way they look in combat, or some amalgamation thereof, or at least just hear my thoughts of how I kind of finagled some of the parts to look the right way. I don't know, because I could talk for hours about this because I've spent so many on it. I'm just not sure how to dedicate my time. So feel free to chime in as much as you like about the things that actually interest you that you would like to see, admittedly probably fairly short, episodes about this kind of stuff. Because I'd probably do more than like 5 minutes a piece.
Anybody who's watching on export, put it in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Feel free. And then Pizza asks if we will play Skyrim. We have played Skyrim in the past.
As far
I
as
want to play it again. Our Skyrim got broken somewhere along the way, so we have to reinstall. And given our love of mods, we have.
I can play as the Dovahkiin because I made him.
Given our love of mods, we can't do that just yet.
Skyrim isn't entirely stable at the moment on my PC.
We will be fixing that, and when that happens, I will probably take over a stream series of it, because I have wanted to play it recently. But not today, because we have to do a clean reinstall. Yeah,
I have to completely install all of the mods again.
We tried recently because I wanted really bad to play, and then it crashed.
A lot.
A lot.
So,
Link's Raven is here.
Cheers. So pretty much anything Elder Scrolls is coming at some point on the channel, just
not today. Wants to know if we're planning on playing Skyrim Remastered.
You mean like the HD thing?
The thing where well, I think that's just an automatic upgrade for people who own it.
It is.
So
is that already?
Is that out already?
I know they said they were going to do it pretty soon after E3 this year, so it may have already come out.
I don't know.
I'm not certain. Chat, confirm!
Shield says, I will only have about 30 minutes to chat, but I'll be able to watch. We're having taco night, and I have to chop everything up.
Enjoy.
Don't catch your fingers in the chopping.
Indeed.
That would be bad. Let me see. Pyro suggests we should make chat. Unfortunately, we do not have many slots.
Yeah, I've only got a few left because there's so many characters. I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 slots left. Other than that, I need to start deleting things. Yeah. I wish there weren't, like, finite slots in this game.
Pizza says it's coming in October.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, then.
Alrighty.
So anyway,
thank you
pretty much
for specifying that for us.
Yeah. Pretty much all of these first few layers are characters of ours. Mm-hmm. Getting down here, though, I made Dante. Speaking of Devil May Cry, and I think he turned out quite well.
Yeah.
Especially once you actually see him in motion with his stuff.
Yeah. And of course we made his brother, because how could we not?
Well, they implemented a cane sword style in this game, and he's got that Iaido form, so it's so Virgil, and that actually fits the style that he uses in combat in DMC3 more than, say, the actual katana form of Mitsurugi's.
Yeah.
Because Mitsurugi just kind of keeps his sword out. Virgil, on the other hand, he does the draw and conceal again.
Link says, I'm on my phone watching this. Gotta watch my 6-year-old brother.
Gotcha. Responsibilities.
Yep.
Kane. The man with one of the coolest voice actors in gaming history. And this is the old, original version of him from Legacy of Kain.
Yep.
And I gave him the Devil Jin form.
Pizza Boy says it's going to be the 28th, actually, the same as Titanfall 2.
Gotcha. And you know, Alucard. A real fucking vampire. His face isn't perfect. It's as close as I could get, though.
We tried.
I did manage with the decals to actually put some amount of, symbols on his gloves. They aren't proper. They're something, though. They kind of serve the purpose.
Yeah.
Already showed Dovahkiin. I'm actually pretty friggin' proud of Squall, because he came out incredibly close, if I dare say. Obviously, there's no, like, Gunblade, and I couldn't get the 3 straps around his right pant leg. And, like, this version of him, like, it has extra daggers, because that's just how I get the cross belts around the waist. He actually looks pretty friggin' spot on, I think. So, again, like, as I'm showing some of these, like, anyone that's actually played this game and has an interest...
wants to know if you grabbed Elite Arena while it was still free.
No, I didn't catch that message until just this morning, and I tried searching around for the thing you were talking about, and I couldn't find it. So if it's still available, let me know.
He's a bit muscular for Alucard.
Yeah, I tried to make him as thin as possible.
But there's only so much you can do, especially with the faces and the bodies.
Yeah, you can change around the like the frame morph and muscularity and stuff to a certain degree. Not as much as I might like, though. Angeal, I think, turned out pretty well. Obviously, his pauldrons are kind of free-floating. There's not much I could do about that, though.
Unfortunately.
I'm so happy with how Genesis turned out. He's one of my, like, favorite that I've ever made. Because he just came out so freaking perfectly. Just, like, looking at him makes me smile. I'm like, I made that.
There's the
yes!
materia in his hands.
No. That's not materia.
What is that? Oh, is that the apple?
That is a Venora White.
Aww. You're gonna make me sad.
And through the Raphael style, I gave him a sword pretty friggin' close to his own.
Menthi's like, who is Angeal?
He is from Crisis Core, one of the Final Fantasy VII.
He is Zack's mentor.
Expanded games.
I mean, FF7 Expanded Universe.
It's not really Expanded Universe so much as it is just like they call it the. I don't remember their actual term because they have a term for the collected works of FF7.
And this is Cowgirl Tifa.
Yeah, from the flashback sequence when she plays the guide for Zack Sephiroth, and then Shinra Soldier Cloud. And again,
Pizza's like, who are these people? These are
so many people haven't played the classics of RPGs.
Final Fantasy characters. She'll says, oh, she's got some updates for her story. That's cool. Pizza Boy asks if this game has an archer. It does not.
No, I wish it did. I'd love it. Sadly, they don't. The closest to that is they have a guest character of Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2. Sadly, you can't use his combat style for created characters. I wish you could.
I know,
you just can't.
Matthew says, okay, not that big into FF.
Gotcha.
This makes me sad. Especially 7 and 10.
Yeah.
Those are my faves. 7 and 10 are my faves.
Yeah. 7, 8, and 10 are my favorites. I absolutely adore the art style of 12. I can't stand its story because it's so plotting and pointless and unfocused. Don't
believe Ondor's lies.
Let's see. This line are characters of ours from the Dark Sun tabletop campaign setting.
Yep.
That is a friend of ours character. Those are customized from the main characters. I did make Piccolo just because I felt like playing something a little goofier. He didn't come out entirely perfect. He's pretty close, though. Like, as close as I could approximate using the pieces available in this game.
My last console was the SNES, so Secret of Mana was good, but after that I moved on to PC. You can get most of them on PC now.
Yeah, most of...
I know you can get 7...
7 and 8 I know are on Steam. I don't think 10 is yet.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
They came out with the
Is the HD version of it on Steam?
I think so.
Okay. I don't think 12 is.
But if you're interested in RPGs...
Yeah, that's when Squaresoft was so good.
That was good.
Prior to the merger with Enix.
Shield says, the book just came this weekend from the library. That's good.
Cool.
For her stories.
Gotcha.
And so these
are the ones that
Iconics.
I'm actually pretty excited to share. Because I know only a small amount of people are even going to know who these characters are. I don't care, though. Because I absolutely love how they came out. And the people that I hope actually know who they are should just be like, I know them! because all of these are the iconic characters for each of the character classes in the Pathfinder tabletop role-playing game. Valeros here is the iconic fighter.
Link says, so the title of the stream says Con Soul. Only Soul Calibur or other Souls games of the Dark or Demon kind?
Just Soul Calibur for now.
We do not have a setup for Dark Souls yet.
And I'm not yet ready to start on that. It's actually coming, because I have decided I am inclined to play the Souls games on the channel. I'm still not sure if I'm going to do that as a stream series or as a recorded series. It's coming, though. I've decided that is something I'm going to do, because I kind of knocked around the idea for it for a while, like, I don't know. And the more I've seen of the latest iteration in that series, the more it interests me. So I came to the conclusion a few weeks ago. I'm like, yeah, all right, I think I will do that. And I'll probably start with the first Dark Souls. I don't know if I'll go all the way to Demon Souls. I might, though. Who knows?
Matthew says, my best buddy is big into FF, and he will defend FF7 till his death that it's the best. He also told me that after 8, the series went pretty downhill.
I don't know. See,
10 is still really good.
10 is fantastic. It's the last good, true Final Fantasy game, if I may spell some heresy. 9, our close friend Atticus, who founded LLP with us,
he loves 9.
He will defend 9 to the grave. He is convinced that it is just a masterpiece. It does nothing for me. I find it completely dull. It's a very subjective series.
I have to admit, 10 is one of my favorites.
Yeah, 10 is great, and I'm of an incredibly conflicted mind of 7, because 7 is my favorite. At the same time, I recognize it is one of the most flawed games in the series. I love it. That doesn't mean I can just ignore some of the really glaring things wrong with it, especially plot hole-wise. And even conception of the world wise. Yeah.
But
and some
FF10 is actually
it's so. And then they did the whole
Don't talk to me about 10 too. I do not believe that it's the same world.
Charlie's Angels Final Fantasy.
It doesn't count to me. That is some weirdo fanboy that I hate.
That's canon fan fiction, is what it is.
That is what it is, and I refuse to accept that on my world of Spira.
That game.
Spira deserves better,
especially because it pretty much ignores one of the the hints at the end of 10.
Don't talk to me about it.
Yeah, I could rant for hours about Final Fantasy. So anyway, Mauricio here is the iconic.
Was FF10 not the BS with the water ball? Blitzball is amazing, and you cannot tell me otherwise. It sounds stupid.
It does. On paper, it sounds like a completely ridiculous idea. In practice, though,
it's really fun.
It is so much fun, because the actual the mini game that one can play to actually participate in the game, and there are leagues and tournaments you can actually play, and it's not just a contrived cutscene thing you do one time. That's all that's required. You can go and if they were to release a Madden style just straight blitzball game, I would play the shit out of it.
We would buy it
because I love it so much.
We would 100% buy it for the Madden price.
Just if they were to make a full-on Gran Turismo style chocobo racing game, all over that.
I'd buy that too. But the blitzball, I'm not gonna lie, it sounds stupid. It does.
It does.
When you try to explain it sounds ridiculous.
It's like soccer, rugby, football, except all underwater, and somehow they all don't run out of air, even though the matches last for minutes at a time, and they're getting hit in the lungs. Just stay with me. I know it sounds stupid.
But it's actually really cool.
It is so much fun in
practice. And given the fact that the world is pretty much entirely magic.
Yeah, you could make it's oxygenated air or water or something. I don't know. Anyway.
But it's really cool. And I actually really like the story.
The story is fantastic.
It made me cry. Not gonna lie. It is
so good. It's a little predictable, especially in the first 2
arcs.
Not arcs. Acts. It concludes very well.
Yes.
And it does confront some heavier themes than one might expect, judging from its introductory phases.
Yeah.
So anyway, Celtiel here has the soundtrack is so fantastic. He has the rather dubious honor of holding the iconic place of 2 classes in the
Wait,
Pathfinder.
Really?
Yeah. This is little trivia even you didn't know.
I didn't know that.
He was in the core rulebook, prior to them making the advanced classes, he was the, what do they call it, the Eldritch Knight, that is like the wizard fighter prestige.
He was a prestige class.
He was.
Iconic.
And then they made him the advanced class Magus iconic.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Pizza Boy asked what Final Fantasy is. It is a series of RPGs.
Yep. They are RPGs from now Square Enix, originally from Squaresoft in Japan. And
you can find most of them on PC or even on mobile. Sorry. And they are still being made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are two of them that aren't classic, like, linear RPGs, that are, in fact, MMORPGs. 11, I actually played for a few years, and I absolutely adored it.
I miss it.
The only complaint that I had about 11, and the reason that I left it, is, to this day, it's still a subscription MMO, which I really think should have gone free to play a long time ago. And it has an incredibly slow progression rate. Once you reach like level 10, you're looking at days at a time to level again even once, and that's got a little painful to keep up with. 14, on the other hand, I played that for the free 30-day trial when it first came out. Enjoyed it.
Not enough to actually want to...
Especially considering I'm so poor. If I had more expendable assets that I could afford at least one monthly subscription game, I might have continued playing 14, because it's gorgeous. It channels enough of the classic FF feel to like appeal to that nostalgic factor for me while still doing its own thing. I liked the classes. I liked how much freedom one had in almost dictating one's own class from like piecemealing abilities and stuff. I liked it. It just, I can't necessarily afford to play much of it, so I can't really say much about 14 other than I like its art style.
Menthius says the only interesting part I like of FF is that every FF world will destroy itself and rebirth after that in another story.
Usually, although they're not all set in the same world. That's a misconception. A few of them are set in the same world, because there's Vana'diel, which several have gotten set in, because I think 12 is in... Is 12 in Vana'diel? Or is Vana'diel the 11 world?
Vana'diel is the 11 world.
Okay, what's... Evilis, that's the 12 world. It's also the Final Fantasy Tactics world. 14 is the one that, when it first came out, the game was so horrible... and it got such poor reception. They literally completely reconstructed the entire game.
They apologized for it.
From the engine up. Just completely made an entirely new game and just slapped the same title on it as an apology. And in lore, to explain that, they actually did do the apocalyptic reform the world thing. For some reason, a lot of people got it in their heads that like all of the Final Fantasy games do that. I'm like, no, they only did it really that one time. A lot of worlds have had apocalyptic things happen in them, like 8.
That's a thing that happens.
And 6, and almost happened again in 7. That's kind of the point.
I think it did happen in 7.
Well, kinda. I mean, it didn't end the world.
It didn't end the world, but it's still an apocalyptic thing that changed the way life worked.
Yeah, because I mean,
that's still an apocalypse.
Yeah, sort of.
But
yeah, it's not the same continual world throughout the games, though. No. Most of them are standalone. Yeah. So anyway, Sela here is the iconic paladin for Pathfinder. Her, I kind of had to compromise on, because she, in her art, usually is depicted as having a much larger shield than this, and a longer sword. It's the only sword and shield style in the game, though. So
Link says, if you're planning on playing Dark Souls, I recommend Prepare to Die edition. We do have
we have that.
That's the one we will be using.
Compliments of an OG in the community, whom I haven't heard from in quite a while. Grindel, he sent it to me a long time ago.
Yeah.
On the condition that I at some point do like a death montage, and I'm probably going to one-up that request and turn it into a full multi-game series. So hopefully, if he ever comes across the channel again, that will please him.
We miss you, Grendel.
I do. I know he was having a lot of internet issues, because he lives in like Nova Scotia, Canada, and his connection was always like tenuous. One of the characters that I'm most proud of, because of how closely I think she came out to her art, is Amiri here. Given some of her like leg armor and stuff is metal instead of leather, I think I was able to get the lines and coloration really well. I'm very proud of how Amiri came out, because she is the iconic barbarian for Pathfinder.
Yep.
So again, like, let me know what you guys would like to see. Anyone that's actually interested in, fighting games and stuff like that.
Menthius says, okay, Baldur's Gate versus Neverwinter Nights, which has the better story? That's a difficult question.
I would say Neverwinter Nights.
I think it has more to it.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate's it's more of a dungeon crawl than an RPG to me.
Yeah. Neverwinter Nights, you have options. You have more choices as you go through the narrative.
They're almost different genres, and therefore apples and oranges to me. They're really edging on that difference territory.
It's one of those things where it depends on what you want out of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
For the story, just straight story, I would say Neverwinter Nights.
Yeah. Imrishka!
For gameplay, I think I might like Baldur's Gate a little bit better, gameplay-wise.
It's a little more action-oriented, so there's more going on screen at any given time. It's just a little more engaging, like, in the moment.
Yeah, this game is pretty much just a fighting game. It does have a story mode, but it's...
This one isn't that great.
Not very good.
The story modes of Soul Calibur's past are far superior. As far as content, story, and just overall quality, I would actually consider Soul Calibur 3 the peak of the series. Yes. This one I only enjoy as much as I do
because of the character.
Because of the character creation and all the options available. I actually enjoy the multiple side modes and the campaign stories
3 and 4
of
best.
3. Yeah.
I was actually best at 2.
And if I recall correctly, I think it was 3 also had the ability to create one's own characters. It was pretty limited in terms of items of customization. However, it actually had separate combat styles one could assign to created characters that were completely different from any of the canon characters. And I absolutely loved the created character styles. Some of them I liked more than the canon character styles. There was one that's 2 reverse gripped, scythe kind of things. Loved that style. There was an alternate katana form that I liked even more than Mitsurugi's, and that says something. Okay. It's just, I miss it. I miss it so much. Why couldn't they have just copy-pasted into this game?
Link says, the Prepare to Die edition has the original game and the Abyss Walker DLC. And the title character of the DLC is one of the best boss fights by far in the series.
Artorias.
And prepare to cry.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
The lore behind him is really sad.
I've heard a little bit about him.
Don't tell me, I have not been spoiled.
Yeah.
Shield says, got about 5 to 10 minutes before I go chat dark.
Alrighty.
Menthius says, okay, let's go even more back. Elder Scrolls World versus Ultima World.
Elder Scrolls...
Oh, you mean Elder Scrolls
comparing the worlds. I never played Ultima, so...
I never played Ultima, so just by dint of being an Elder Scrolls nut, I'm going to have to go with Elder Scrolls.
I will say that very, very few games can compete with Morrowind.
Gosh, I love Morrowind.
Even in the Elder Scrolls franchise, I consider it the peak of their storytelling, even compared to Oblivion, and especially compared to Skyrim. Yep. I love Skyrim, don't get me wrong. It's just, I consider one of the lowest points, if I were to itemize my critique of Skyrim, its story is incredibly low. Yeah. The only thing that really props it up is the freeform aspect of it, the character creation aspect of it, the dynamic quests, and how pretty it looks.
It's the mechanics that really sell.
Exactly.
Skyrim.
It's the chassis. The story that's told through that chassis.
Not so much.
I raged so hard at the absolute idiocy of the Civil War quest line. It made no sense. I hated it so much.
We have to say goodbye to someone.
Oh, is Shield taking off?
No. Pizza Boy is going to see a movie with his girlfriend.
Oh, enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
What you seeing? I don't even know what's out anymore. I hardly keep up with movies. Anyway, I should probably say.
Yeah, you should probably...
Imrishka is the iconic, what's the word? Inquisitor of Pathfinder. She is another one that I am incredibly happy with the design of, because I feel like she came out incredibly closely to
Menthius
the
has
source
never played
material.
Ultima? Heretic. What system was that on?
I don't know. Like, I know one of the oldest ones is on PC. I don't know if they went to any consoles. Harsk here is probably the one that I'm least confident in of all of the Pathfinder iconics I've made, just because
he was hard.
He was really hard to make. I almost decided against making him because there's a few of the Pathfinder iconics that I've decided I'm not going to make because there just aren't the pieces available in this game
to get
even close enough to make it semi-recognizable. Like, unfortunately, Ezrin, the iconic wizard of Pathfinder, I just can't make him. The pieces aren't there. Yeah. I just can't figure it out.
Pyro says, I do kind of wish Bethesda would move away from the prisoner start and the vault dweller starts in Fallout. I think at this point...
It's just a tradition.
It's a tradition.
Yeah. Anyway, Harsk is the ranger. Yeah, I mean, like, Obsidian did a different start. Then again, they're not Bethesda.
Yeah.
Let's see. Leanie.
And you still started underground, to be fair.
Yeah.
Huh. Get it? In New Vegas.
6 feet underground.
See? You did
going deeper underground.
See, you still start underground, even in New Vegas.
A new life underground.
Or new death. Link says, I gotta go.
Alrighty. Have a good one, man.
Bye.
Leanie here is the iconic druid. I had to get kind of clever with her because I actually used like insect antennae that you can put on your character to customize them and angled them outward to give her the like super exaggerated eyebrows that
which is part of the
gnomes in Pathfinder are usually drawn with. She's another one that's kind of like Harsk in that I think it's close. She also uses a little hand scythe in her art.
And that's the closest we can get.
There isn't a weapon like that in game, so I went with a Khopesh. They call it a Sapata. This is a Khopesh, though.
Yep.
I figured it's close.
Pyro says, I do feel the Vault Dweller thing limits how you can roleplay a character.
A little, yeah.
It does. Of course, in the modern Bethesda stuff, it's more about what you do once you leave the vault than necessarily where you came from.
It's not necessarily where you came from, it's where you're going to and who you turn into. And so lastly, prior to jumping into combat, Freya is the iconic... Freya. I'm just so used to thinking of the actual, like, Nordic goddess. The iconic witch that I'm pretty happy with how she came out. I was almost about to scrap the idea of making her just because I couldn't figure out how to do it. And then I figured out how I could layer things such that it actually looked like her iconic key art. And I'm happy with how she came out.
Pyrus is a new life underground, 6 feet under and dead. Saved is here and says hello.
Cheers.
Pyrus, does anyone else think it's funny that Courier 6 was buried 6 feet under? Methia says, okay, a very hard question. Fallout universe versus Shadowrun universe.
Fallout.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not hard or quick for me. They're rather slow. Fallout. I like Shadowrun. Fallout.
Fallout. Like, I like Shadowrun a lot, and I do like its universe. Like, but Fallout, man.
Fallout.
I meant like Fallout.
Let's see, who should I play with?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Oh. The character that you still can't figure out.
I can't figure out who she is. I'm making her. She is a thing. I just don't know where.
Yeah, we created this character years ago in this game. Just a sheer idea, just something that looked cool. It wasn't inspired from a character from a tabletop or from something else. And we've each had this feeling for a long time that, speaking of Final Fantasy, she looks like a character from some kind of Final Fantasy game. And, like, we've tried coming up with ideas to put her into this tabletop universe or that, and we just can't figure it out. She's just cool.
Yeah. Noah says, hey gamers, how's it going?
Hello.
Ghost says, hey, I'll kind of be here. I'm packing and listening.
Packing,
and says, Ghost, packing? Time for Texas? And Noah says, packing for good old Texas? I don't know, are ya?
Because I know you were on a, was it a camping trip last week? So are you packing for another trip, or are you like, the trip?
Is it the trip?
Oh God, I need those lungs for lunging air. I know, that's not a word. I don't care! Yeah! Yeah!
I still don't know who she is, and it's bugging me.
Also, I'm not particularly good with the character that she has the style of, so if I get my ass kicked, don't criticize me.
Ghost says, yep.
Nice!
Gotta keep going now. I would rather live in a completely packed house and have to pack at the last minute as I might be moving.
I hear you, man. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
That is awesome.
You let us know when you're in the good old Lone Star State.
Yeah, before you leave, do you have her number? Because I think
my number.
I think I sent it to you last year for like the wedding invite and stuff. I don't know if you still have it. So if you don't, I'll message it to you. Because, like I said, I'd happily come and give you a hand if you need it.
Sweetheart.
Oh, yeah.
We are happy to come give you a hand.
Totally.
Not just Ken. Bye. Bye, too. You still kick butt, so...
And a chance.
Who are you? Dang it! Oh, no. No word on when I'm coming to Texas, but I could find out at any time, so I'm trying to get packed now instead of later.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
No, it says, Ghost, you and the good old Kin family have got to do a co-stream.
Oh, yeah. Dude, we could do that for our next charity stream.
Yeah. Save to so my PC power supply just fried itself. Any replacement suggestions? 500 wattish.
I'm pretty sure it's a Corsair I'm using. I don't remember the exact model.
No, it says I also might be in the area soon for the record. College scouting and all. Ah. So I'm not saying anything, but like in real life, Cards Against Humanity.
I'm game.
I'm game. And in real life, Munchkin. We have to get you into Munchkin, good sir.
Oh, yes.
It is glorious.
Hit me with your little Orby thing. Madam.
I think she's an Inquisitor. She kind of seems like an Inquisitor. Maybe. I'm like, if I come up with at least classes, maybe that'll come up with something. I don't know.
Oh, I friggin' missed.
Ghost says, let me check if I have her number. I will have absolutely no one else I know in Texas, so I'll be forever in your debt for any help.
No problem, man.
We would be happy to help. Seriously.
Besides, I need an excuse to go San Antonio way, since my folks actually live pretty close to there.
Yeah.
So.
We haven't been out there in quite a while.
Yeah.
And I get the feeling that nieces and nephews will be pleased.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I need to go visit my family. I need an excuse to go see it.
Well, it's a good excuse, though.
Yeah. And we also need an excuse to go and get the greatest barbecue in Texas.
Yes.
County line. There's one in San Antonio. The one that's here in Houston closed, like, a couple years ago.
Because the owners were going to retire,
and they just decided not to tell their employees. They just closed up one day, just like, oh, sorry, we're done.
Yeah, I was upset. No, it says, dude, so down for anything. I'll probably be checking out either A&M or UT Austin.
Cool.
Awesome.
Each are good schools.
Yep.
Not that one or the other would tell you that about the other, because they have a rivalry.
Yep. Ghost says, yep, I have her number. Awesome.
Cool.
Call me. Seriously. Anytime. Text me. Whatever. Just make sure that you say it's you. If you text me. Because if I just get weird texts, I'm liable to not respond.
Or to hand the phone to me, and I mercilessly screw with people that just call from random numbers.
So just make sure that you say who it is.
A classic for me is to just answer the phone. Hola, tacos.
He answers.
I answer the phone to my mom that way. That's just a running joke with she and I.
Hola, Paco. I'm just like, you guys are such.
No matter what anyone, especially if it's like a telemarketer or something, I just act a little confused and then just. ¿Tú quieres un taco? Con queso y frijoles.
Stop talking about food in my country.
Just confused confused Paco the taco truck guy.
That's where he came from.
It is.
That's where the taco truck Paco came from. Sheila's off to start dinner.
I hope it is delicioso. Speaking of tacos, by the way.
No, it says, it's the curse of good barbecue. Always poses. Ghost and I are chatting about this relating to the move, but once all the kids in my generation and the family graduate, literally everyone is going to California or Washington. And I'm not about that life, so it's already creating some disputes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, California, expensive and not really my thing.
Yeah, like, even if, for professional reasons, it's, like, in my interests to live, like, near YouTube studios, I'd rather just live in western Nevada and then commute into the YouTube facility in LA as needed.
Yeah. Now, this is also, here's the real question, Ghost. First gun once into Texas.
Yeah, that reminds me, like, I just called today to see what the rate is to have my mouse inspected to make sure it's actually safe to fire. And, they want $70 for that. I'm like,
might have to
you're just taking it apart, man. Yeah. Compare rates. $70 just for an inspection? That seems a little stout.
Yeah, that does.
Like, I'm not asking for custom work or anything. Ow, ow, ow.
Pyre says, I always answer the phone with, Yar, you be speaking with Chris. What be your reason for calling?
That was close.
Nice. Ghost says, happy to be an excuse. I just hope they move me before they change up the system, so I have some time to get the new house in order.
I gotcha.
And if you need help house hunting,
She has fun with that.
I do.
I get infuriated with the whole system. I'm just like, it's so complicated. I hate it so much. She has fun, though, so.
I like house hunting. Ghost says, probably 1911.
Good choice. Good choice.
Ghost says, yeah, it's California. Dry, expensive, full of hipsters, bad gun laws, and corrupt as heck. What a great place to be. Unlike the crap hole that is Texas, with low taxes, low corruption, stable economy, and loose gun laws. Sarcasm, anyone?
One of the things that annoyed me the most, though, when we visited California, like, the most, the fact that lane splitting is legal for motorcyclists there. I hated that so goddamn much.
Like, they're gonna get people killed.
Yeah! Themselves including!
Ghost has sent me a text. Hopefully it's got a number.
And if you don't know what lane splitting is, that's when
awful.
motorcycles
Okay,
go, like, in between the cars in the middle of lanes on the road. I just want to open my fucking door. Oh god, no. I think I missed it. Oh, no, there we go.
Guess what?
Cool.
Now I have to...
Ghost confirmed.
How do I... Phone... How do I add... Is it you? New contact. There we go.
Ah, crap. Damn you, Ivy. I am the superior whip swordstress.
Whip swordstress.
She just refuses to get hit with that. Ow, don't you jab me in the cheek? How dare you? Ah, my face! My precious modeling career. Yeah. So anyway,
It is in fact correct.
figured I'd check, so now that we've actually played a little.
I just saw it.
That's actually, in the preview, that looks pretty smooth. And how's the audio levels, since this is still another test?
Noah says, okay, I can be kind of a jerk on my bike because I'll run stops when nobody's around, but stay in my lane, obey all laws to a T when cars aren't around, and mind right of way like I'm a religious man and the traffic officer is my god.
Good!
But people who lane split, nobody deserves to get hit, but they deserve to get hit.
Like,
Menthe says, American driving is messed up anyway. Passing a car on the right side on the highway is just crazy.
I mean, if they're going...
But right side is for slow lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, Of course you're going to pass the slow cars.
If they're going really slow in the left lane, which is the fast lane, then I'm going to pass them on the right because they're in the way.
I almost spelled it right. I forgot it.
Because the right lane is the slow lane because that's the lane that you're going to turn from. So that makes sense. Whoa, okay.
I think he's just making fun of us because we're, you know.
And trust me, like, friggin' American drivers are not all created equal.
No.
Good God.
No.
Like, Houston drivers, people around here, they have their moments. They're not terrible, though. Austin drivers, on the other hand, ugh. Like, violently oblivious.
They're terrible. Like, not just
like,
a little terrible. They're just straight terrible.
And the self-entitlement just seethes even into their driving habits. Just that, I'm moving into this lane. I don't care if you're in the way. Get out of my way. I'm more important than you. And that'll happen to you 4 or 5 times on the way through downtown Austin.
Sometimes it makes me upset.
And prior to anyone on the export who's from Austin getting all angry at me...
He's from Austin.
Yeah. Grew up there. Can confirm.
Learn to drive there.
My driver's ed class took me down Congress Avenue. Where, during my driver's ed class on Congress Avenue, on the fucking state capitol, chick from UT, I shit you not, hat pulled down, earphones in, reading a novel, head down, sunglasses on, as being unable to fathom anything around her as physically possible. Just wanders off the sidewalk into the middle of the road. It's not a crosswalk. It's not an intersection. It's the middle of the goddamn road!
Gonna, like, protect the mic.
And she just wanders out there. And I had to lock up the car to not hit her. Because she did it maybe 30 feet in front of me. And the speed limit around there, I think, is like 45? And like, squealing tires. Smoke coming off of them. And I think she might have, like, felt the air movement from the sudden stop of my vehicle in front of her, only a few feet away. Just kind of, like, looks up, just like, huh, okay. Ow. And just kind of, and just keeps right on walking. Doesn't even hurry up, like, oh, okay, that was scary. Just kind of resumes her pace.
Yep. Okay, so,
Austinates.
No, it says everything's perfect on his end on the thing. It says slow on right, fast on left, fast on left, and don't hit the driver. Or don't hit the divider. It's simple. Go says, yeah, I will definitely need some house hunting and suggestions on specific areas if you know the area.
Okay.
Work will be helping a bit on the move, but I'm not sure how much they can do. I got 2 weeks of vacation to get the stuff done when it happens, but my manager is awesome, so I'll have more time if I need it.
Oh, that's cool. 2 weeks. That's fine.
Yeah. Noah says, you haven't seen bad driving until you've seen someone go from the inner turn lanes to the outermost straight lane with cars behind them. Almost caused a 3-car pileup in the middle of the busiest intersection in town.
Oh, we've seen
wait.
one more.
There's more.
Okay.
Catch up, and then we'll tell the story.
Okay.
Go says, yeah, Illinois drivers are some of the worst drivers ever. Matthias says, German, Autobahn, everybody's driving on the right lane except for you or in a supercar, and nobody will catch you anyway, or you're passing a slower person. You go back to the right lane.
Is Germany a drive on the left or a drive on the right country?
Go says, how are the San Antonio drivers? And Noah says, if you drive with headphones in, screw you. End of story.
Yeah. Yeah, that. San Antonio drivers...
The drivers aren't bad. The downtown streets are...
It's a spaghetti bowl, for one thing. San Antonio's street design...
We joke about this, but it might actually be true. We joke...
No. Because I know where you're going with that, and no.
Okay.
It's one of the least logical designs.
Oh, man.
There's clearly no city planning at work in any aspect of downtown San Antonio. It's just a mess. People just over time decided, well, we're going to need a road to go there. Oh, there's another road in the way. Well, we'll just make it one way going around this way. And
Yeah, there's a one-way road going forward, and then, like, it intersects, but at the other end of the intersection, it's a one-way road going the opposite direction.
Now
so
that's,
you have to turn and go around.
That's only really in the downtown
That's only
area.
in the downtown.
The surrounding area is fine. Downtown San Antonio, though, migraine-inducing.
It is literally, we call it the spaghetti bowl because that's kind of how you end up driving. You do the squiggly, weirdo pattern.
Where was it? Oh, yeah. So the cutting across multiple lanes.
Matthew said he answered your question.
Oh, okay.
Right side driving. We are not island apes.
Okay. I've never heard that one.
Me neither. But yeah. Okay, the multiple lanes. Is this the one that I was
on our drive to Galveston?
Oh my gosh.
We
watched it happen.
We were driving through pretty much downtown Houston, and as I said, Houston drivers do have their moments of idiocy, and usually when they do, it's fairly extreme. Like this guy that on, I think it was like a 4-lane section of the highway, maybe 5.
I think it was still 4.
Okay. We're in the lane that's like closest to where the exits are, and we watch this dude maybe 50 to 70 feet from the exit, traveling at 65 to 70 miles an hour, mind you. Go from the far lane closest to the median, suddenly cut across all the lanes of traffic to try to make it to an exit. So he's essentially coming at this, like, exit is here, cocked at an angle. He's coming at it at, like, this angle, doing 70. How well do you think he fared trying to turn? Spoilers, he didn't. He hit the friggin' pillar nose on.
But he got out of the car.
Yeah, I mean, somehow he walked away from that.
He didn't hit any other cars, miraculously.
Amazingly.
Gus says, "Oh, fun! I guess I'm in for a treat. Only if you're in downtown."
Yeah, the area that you showed me is actually a pretty nice area as far as like city planning. It's normal grids and stuff, so that's not much of a concern. If you have to go downtown, though, have fun.
Sig Bass, computer question: if you get or build a new computer, can you transfer Windows to that new computer?
If you have the install disk still, yes.
And and he says, do you just have to install your old hard drive? You can do it that way, but if you have the install disk, you can put it on a new drive, no problem.
Yeah, and if you're installing an old hard drive onto a new computer, it is good to completely reformat the drive. Yeah. Otherwise, it can cause problems.
So you'll need the install disk.
Yeah, you'll need the install disk, whether it's literally on a disk or if you can get it on a download or something.
Whichever way.
And I'm having hell trying to kill Nightmare because I'm trying to hold conversations at the same time.
Stop holding conversation. Kill Nightmare. He's hard.
He is so hard. And especially considering I am not good with Ivy's style.
What is that thing?
I don't know.
They've got in the back.
Giant or a troll or something. It's le monstre air.
I have to admit, a part of me is sad that we don't have the 5, and the other part of me is grateful because we don't have to do 5 horror games.
No.
I don't want it. We watched Jack and Mark play.
They look so good.
They look so good, but I'm like, I don't think I want to. I think I might just.
I'd probably
out.
Punch a hole in my wall.
I know.
Whoa, God! Oh my God! Ow.
Ghost says, "Yay! Well, I was showing you the location of work, and hopefully I'll live relatively close to work, so I might be able to avoid torture."
Alrighty.
You should be able to if the area you were showing him is accurate.
And I know this varies pretty widely across the country. At least in Texas, it's fairly normal to live within a 15 to 30 minute commute of one's work. I know to some people that's like, oh my God, why would you live so far away? And to others, it's like, you only live 15 minutes, I live 2 hours. I mean, for some reason, that sort of thing varies really widely across the U.S.
And in Texas, some people do drive an hour or more.
Yeah, my mom used to.
You definitely don't have to.
I drove about a half hour when I worked at the county. San Antonio and just pretty much the entire area around like there in Austin, there's enough like urbanized areas around there that you should find housing somewhere within pretty close of your work, no matter where you are.
Yeah. Memphis says, oh, by the way, German Autobahn is great because there are lots of parts without speed limits. If your car is driving scope can handle 200 miles an hour, you can go for it.
Yeah, that's about the extent of any American's knowledge of the Autobahn, is that it's just like a free-for-all playground of no speed limits. That's all we know about it.
Yep. The Mihawk is here and says, your boy is here.
What up? Oh shit, that boy. What up?
Whoa.
Alright, that's 2 down, just 1 more.
That was pretty good, actually.
I've just got one question for you, Nightmare. What are those? Ow. He answered my question. It was not the answer I wanted.
I like the giant bird things that are in the sky.
I think they're griffins, actually.
I want them, though. Like, look at them.
There!
Like, I want to ride one. Look at it.
Can I ride? Yes, Goku. I'm a Yoshi. I'm a green fucking dinosaur. Sorry.
Really? No!
No!
Because it's, yeah, I live about 15 to 20 minutes away right now, so I'm hoping to be about that from work in Texas.
Yeah, I'm sure you
I
can
will
find
have
some.
to randomly go into work if something happens, so being close is a plus.
Ah, gotcha.
No, it says, I have to say, despite being in the South for about a week, I love it more than the North by a huge margin. Cheaper gas, fewer chains, nicer people, cooler accents, and more to see.
Yeah, the one thing that drives a lot of people away is, like it is at the moment, currently 100 degrees and humid, so it feels
It's
like
not
110.
actually, it's not 100
Well, it's
degrees.
like-
It is 95.
Okay, so it's only 95.
It's only 95 with, like...
With like 50% humidity, so it feels like 103. Only.
Actually, let me see. What is
Yeah,
the real
what is it
feel?
today?
What is the real feel?
The real feel?
That's
Is that what it's
they
called?
call- Yeah,
Are you
101.
serious? Okay, so
It's 93 degrees and it feels like 101.
Oh, so that's no problem. That's just comfortable tropical. Let's give him Rishka some
Mihawk
time in the
asks which
spotlight.
Soul Calibur is this? This
Soul
is
Calibur 5.
Menti says Kins, but not all of the Autobahn is without speed limit. And even lots of Americans want to go fast. Most of them, first time passing 150, they will piss their pants.
Oh, yeah. Most Americans like the idea of driving that fast, put them in a car that's actually moving that fast, and they're just like, oh god, this is scary!
Yeah.
I grew up with a dad that has a real need for speed, though, so I routinely with him rode at 100 miles plus an hour.
Yeah, Ghost says, yeah, the heat and humidity is going to be hard to deal with, but it's worth it. Sweating is good for everyone.
And I mean, down here, like, AC is ubiquitous. Like, nobody goes without AC.
And if they're trying to make you go without AC,
They're scamming
go to the workers'
Yeah.
union, because something is
whether-
really wrong.
And, like, if you're getting housing of any kind, like apartments or something without AC, if you're paying any more than, like, $500 a month, they are cheating you.
Honestly, without AC, I would say something around 200 to 300 in the cheating.
Because, like, it gets to the point where, for some people, literally, it is a health hazard.
Yeah, the other day here in Houston,
And there's
it
always...
was 100 degrees, like, without humidity, but the humidity was so high that they actually had to open what are called
cooling stations.
Which are places for people who, for whatever reason, are either outside a lot and can't, you know, they don't have a place to go to cool off, or they don't have AC, or whatever. They can go to these places and cool off so that there won't be an influx of emergencies with heat stroke and heat exhaustion.
And there's always that dismissive response, well, just go get a fan. Okay, one, they're all sold out when it gets this hot. Two, yeah, let's just move hot air around and exacerbate the problem.
They do put out warnings that if you don't have AC or some method of getting cold air,
a fan just makes it
do
worse.
not use a fan. Ghost says, no, I'm definitely going to have AC. I will not survive otherwise. It's definitely going to be a must when finding a place. Don't worry, I always look for AC.
Yeah, thankfully,
I will not find you a place without AC. That's just
yeah, because it is such a need here. It's not like considered an extra feature. It's just like everyone has AC. That's just an accepted thing.
Yeah. Menthia says, just a question, because I was asked from an American how to study in Germany is. How much it costs a month to study in America?
I don't know.
That depends entirely on what colleges you go to.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, what, like if you're going as part of a study abroad thing, or if, you know, it's just you.
Yeah, like if you're
somewhere.
just traveling there temporarily.
It's very subjective to what school you're doing, where said school is, because, of course, price of living will be different in different towns.
For instance, the price of living here in Houston versus, say, that of Austin. Austin is a much more expensive area than here.
Yeah.
For instance, like purchasing a house, or just rent, for instance, you can get almost twice the square footage and such here in Houston for the same price as you would spend in Austin. And that's just within the same state. Compare here to, say, New York. New York is almost like a completely different country. It's so much more expensive.
No, it says, I think I can deal with the humidity. The north will get up there, only about 10 degrees off, and the humidity isn't anything new. As long as I'm not out constantly, I'll be fine. Here's the thing I like most. A scenic drive in Chicago. Oh, wow! A building without graffiti. A scenic drive in North Carolina. Oh, wow! Several miles of clear sight atop the mountain.
That depends very much on where you are in Texas. Graffiti artists, many of them are very good. They are very prevalent, however.
There's lots of forests.
Oh, yeah.
In Texas.
And if you miss the pines, there's always the Bastrop area. That place is gorgeous.
Matthew says, so is there like a middle price? What are we talking about?
Like I said, I don't know without actually looking at them.
For me, per month, I have to look at what the tuition costs you.
Yeah, tuition, housing, food, all that.
Because if you're staying at a university, tuition, they give you a lump price, and then they just break it up into monthly things. But it depends on what housing you're doing and how many classes you're taking. So because of that, it can vary even in the same university.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on what you're going for. So it's... And then, of course, the differences between universities can be pretty big. So I honestly can't say what a middle price would be. And since it's been long enough since I was actively looking at that sort of stuff, I can't say with any certainty, what it is right now. Noah says Memphi's college students have two-tier pricing. The first is if you're just there and it's the most expensive, and then the residency pricing, which is much lower if you're staying. Also, it varies massively between colleges and cities.
Oh, yeah.
It's impossible to pin down an average, unfortunately. I don't know. The American average is $32K per year. Much lower for state residents, only about 10. Yeah, that seems about right.
And just getting an overall average is sort of deceptive because some of them are extremely high and will skew that number. Others are much more affordable. Like, taking summer classes, for instance, at Texas State costs just a little over $100. That's purely for the tuition of taking the class, however. That's not encompassing anything to do with housing, food, whatever. And then, even at the same university, certain classes cost more during the main semester. So
mostly because of things they're using within the class itself. So it's fairly complicated because
unfortunately,
the country is so large.
Yeah.
And city, the price of living is different in cities, even in the same state.
Going with the average isn't really going to help you when you look at anywhere specific, because the average probably isn't relevant to anywhere you look. It's going to end up a little more or less than that wherever.
Matthew says 2.5K a month on average? Holy crap.
Yeah, certain universities get really freaking expensive.
Certain universities, if you end up going to a place like, if you just want an associate's degree before transferring to better, like an actual university, you can go to some of the community colleges, and they're far less expensive.
The thing with a lot of those, though,
the thing is you're still going to have to have living.
Yeah, well, and there's also, because a lot of, at least state universities and public universities are funded with, like, taxpayer money, they very much incentivize people from that state and therefore invested in that state's economy to participate there. So they make it much cheaper for those people. You're looking at usually several times the amount of an in-state student's tuition if you are not from that state. And that's even for other Americans, much less people from other countries.
Yep.
So
though you can also get grants and such.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of scholarships and grants and stuff, especially
that will help with that sort of thing. So.
Like I got, I think, $500 one year because one of my parents is in law enforcement. Obtained new title, Demonic Wanderer. Okay, cool. I got another one because I am of verifiable German descent. What else? I got another scholarship. There was one because I got grades above a certain point in high school, so like do a lot of digging about, especially scholarships, not necessarily grants. Unless you're doing something specific with a particular university that has investors interested in it. Grants aren't usually all that reliable. There's a scholarship out there for
pretty much
anything. People are willing to throw money at college kids. You just got to know where to look.
No, it says, my advice for school hunting, disregard averages entirely.
Yeah, take it.
Look at your budget and hunt for scholarships and aid like a madman.
Yep.
Play a residency.
Oh, yeah.
Go says, is it bad that I have 6 boxes of books and still counting? No.
We just went to our storage unit the other day, and I forgot how many freaking books she has. We probably got like 7 or 8 in storage. That's not counting the ones that we have here. That, mind you, amount to 2 full shelves.
I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's fine. Everything is fine.
We're all fine here now. How are you?
It's not my fault. I love reading. I have a problem, okay? Oh my god, I just checked some pages. Elite University is $40,000 each year.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Ivy League schools, whoo!
You don't go there unless you're rich
Yeah.
or you've got some serious scholarships.
Yeah, if someone isn't giving you a full ride or your parents aren't a millionaire, good luck to you!
Yeah, do not go there.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of the money that will show up is including housing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, your utilities, your place to stay, your furniture, that's all of that. But, yeah, it's so expensive.
Like, when I was in high school, Duke University, which is considered a fairly prestigious one, they kept sending me all kinds of, like, invitation letters. Like, they were courting the hell out of me. And I thought it was cool. I'm like, wow, I've heard of them. I know they're, like, well-respected. And then I started looking at their tuition, and I'm just like, oh, hell no, I can't afford that! So, like, sadly, I could have gone to a very prestigious university if I'd liked. I couldn't afford it.
You wouldn't have met me
and,
if you had.
like, it's weird because my mom was doing well enough for herself when I was looking at colleges that we weren't, ironically, making little enough money to qualify for the sort of government tuition aid programs that would have actually allowed me to afford going there. It's a weird dichotomy.
Yep.
If you're really, really poor, the government really wants to help you get an education so that you can get out of that rut, which a lot of people will misrepresent as not truthful. It really is, though. You just got to look for it.
There is a lot of help out there.
Yeah, there really is. You just got to dig.
You just have to be willing to keep trying.
And you got to put in hours and hours and hours, and don't get afraid of failure and rejections, because a lot of things are just going to say, no, you don't qualify. And usually it's for fairly arbitrary reasons. There's just so many of them out there. Like, don't let that discourage you. The chance is out there.
Yep.
And that applies to everybody.
Yep. No, it says, those folks also land you a job anywhere.
Yeah.
If you're looking at Ivy Leagues and top 20.
Oh, yeah. As soon as somebody sees, you've got a degree from there, they don't care what degree it's even in. They just see Ivy League University name, and they're just like, well, you're hired.
Scarlett is here. Go says, then I don't feel so bad anymore. And don't worry, Vi, I love reading too. It's normal. No, since my parents basically gave me one guideline. You're not graduating in debt no matter what.
Good policy. Because student loans, freaking predatory, man. I was incredibly fortunate that my mom cared enough about my education from infancy that as soon as I came into the world, she started setting aside money for it, such that I left college without a dime of debt, and I would have had to have stayed in a job that I just couldn't stand after college if I had debt, just so that I could pay it off. The fact that I don't have that weight that's just dragging me down is the reason that I have the financial freedom to try doing this for a career.
Matthew says it's just so shocking for me because studying in Germany is free. You only pay for your living and the stuff you need for study.
You guys also have much higher taxes, though.
Yeah, you
so
have higher
it's a trade-off.
taxes and less people.
And yeah, I can very much hear the argument for, and I support the idea of some amount of state-funded and therefore tax-funded collegiate level training here in the States. It's just a lot of the programs that I've seen putting forward the idea also come with a lot of other stuff that I'm not a huge fan of. At the same time, though, I've seen the numbers crunched down. It comes to literally a few cents a year to fund a modest federal-level college education fund for the American system. And cool, I'm for that. I'm just not for the propositions that have tacked on a lot of other shit, sketchily and shadily, with those propositions. And I've also heard that.
It says, the flip side here is lower taxes. You pay for it up front in America, and in Germany, the whole way through.
Exactly.
It's not free if it's coming from your wallet the whole way.
Exactly.
Ghost says, whoa, I just found my Hapkido book again. This thing is freaking heavy.
Yeah, the old adage of nothing in life is free. Oh, yeah.
Scarlett says, the Aussie Defense Force has its own college.
That's cool.
Where you can get a degree in almost anything. You can not only no debt, but a good amount of savings and a job.
That's one of the incentives.
You have to stay in the force for several years as an officer, though.
Yeah, that's one of the incentives that American military has put forward is that they've got a lot of financial aid programs for active service to help pay for college.
Yep. Noah says, my problem with public funding of anything. I am an only child. My parents pay more than someone with 6 kids, despite me being effectively 1/6 of the burden. Huge imbalances need to be ironed out first.
Yeah. I mean, there isn't necessarily such a thing as a perfect system when it comes to public funding. There's always going to end up imbalances one way or another.
Yeah.
I mean, there just effectively isn't a way to iron some of those things out.
But the really, really big ones should try to flatten those curves a bit.
Yeah.
Let's get this over with. Battle 1. Fight.
I forget which country it was that maybe it was Germany or maybe it was Sweden. That for even foreign students is completely free. You just show up and get educated. And I love the idea of that. The thing is,
the money has to come from somewhere.
It comes from somewhere. It comes from tax money.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's why with state universities here in the U.S., they try to incentivize people that are from the local economy, and therefore that are paying for the whole thing, to use it and make it more expensive for people that aren't necessarily from that economy to come and then, draw
Scarlett
from
wants
it.
to know if this is Alucard. Nope, this is a iconic from Pathfinder.
Yep. Imrishka, the Inquisitor. I have made Alucard, though. I'll play him next if you want. Okay.
Leave her alone. She's dead. She's gone. She's good. Oh, did you just call her a dog? Mishka.
She's a half-orc. She's abrasive.
Yeah, abrasive is a word for it.
Let's get this over with.
Now, it says a lot of European countries have that, if I recall correctly, but I
Quite
wouldn't
a
feel
few.
justified in showing up using money never meant for me and then vanishing back into America without giving back to the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people who are willing to do that. I'm not one of them.
Yeah, same here. Because, I mean, that's why, like, if I end up moving to a country, which we're very much considering at some point, I am going to take it upon myself to learn the language of that country, especially if they have a state language. Because I figure that's just respectful to the people that live there. I'm not going to move someplace with a culture that isn't my own and expect others to acquiesce to my demands. That's not reasonable.
Yep. Assimilation is a thing.
Yeah, man.
And if you're going to live somewhere, you should probably start by...
Yeah, like, learn how people live there. There's probably a reason you chose to live there, so make yourself a part of it.
Yep. Now this is me screaming, Switzerland! Switzerland!
Oh, God.
Matthew says, I can understand that, but I just saw a documentary saying the Americans study in Germany and then just stay 2 more years. It's already paid back to the system and made the country money.
Is that via, like, transaction taxes and
Like
such?
transactions and, like, working there, I would assume, if you spend 2 more years there after getting your
Like,
you know,
just assuming
education.
the general cost of living and food and such, like, the system would have made up the money through the taxes on those transactions? Is that how that works?
I don't know.
That's my assumption.
That seems like a lot of money. That,
Not necessarily. Because you got to remember, too, like, a lot of what we look at as education costs here come from the fact that a lot of American universities are severely overpriced.
Yeah,
Like, their operational costs are not as high as their tuition would lead one to think.
that's true.
A lot of those are just getting, pocketed for this or that, just to make it look more prestigious and exclusive than it really necessarily needs to be.
Maxie,
Because,
do you see who you're looking at?
like, make no mistake, there are some very fine, high-quality universities here in the States. I've literally met Harvard graduates. One of my high school teachers was one. He was my physics teacher, and loved that guy. I forget which school he went to. If you should have, somewhere in Texas, a physics teacher / professor with the last name of Ayler, you are lucky, because that guy, so damn cool. Anyway, even he was of the mind that what you're getting when you're getting one of the Ivy League educations is not necessarily that much more appreciably high quality an education as compared to, say, a lowly state university education. You're paying for the exclusivity of the name that implies, like, the quality that people think it has. That it doesn't necessarily. You're really paying for the
name.
connections
You're paying
that
for the connections and the names.
you will naturally make, like elbowing with the people that attend them due to the cost and therefore the exclusivity. If something is extremely expensive, only the wealthy can go there, and that then dictates that you're going to make wealthy and therefore beneficial for business contact. That's what you're paying for. You're not necessarily paying for a higher quality education, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, no, it says Ivy League for 99% name. Same with Alienware.
Oh, yeah.
Branding kills. Matthew says also German school system and university is learn by yourself. There is no hand-holding. There are times when the teachers on sites have them teach you, but for your degree work, you need to work it out yourself.
Yeah, that's the way most, especially graduate programs are here in the States. Your first 4 years are very instructional. Graduate level education, which is getting stuff like master's and of course doctorate, that you're pretty much writing your own lesson plans.
Matthew says you don't even need to go to classes if you don't want. You just need to reach the minimum required hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That
not
one, well,
most.
Well, for graduate level stuff
For
sometimes.
graduate this is for base school system. This is just university in general.
Well, I had certain classes like that.
Yeah, but if this is like the whole system, that's not really. Most professors don't like doing that.
So.
Yeah.
Most professors are pretty in love with the idea of themselves.
Yeah. No, it says American school systems are pretty individualist too. That's why you
Yeah.
see a ton of first year dropouts.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
For instance, my...
Because high school does not actually prepare you for.
No, it really doesn't. My political science class, the first day I was there, me and my roommate at the time, we each had the same class, And he and I are each, even though I, don't mention specifics all that much on the channel, friends that know me know I'm fairly politically minded. I like to stay abreast of things. I like to keep informed. And about certain topics, I have, fairly detailed opinions. And, I will share these. And when we got into some of those similar sorts of discussions that first day of class, then after we were just kind of hanging around, loitering in the hallway afterward, the professor kind of went over to me and my friend and was just like, This is a 101 class. This is just for the fundamentals. You guys don't really need this class. So, I know you guys have to, come because it's part of your degree program. Just show up on test days. Just check the syllabus. That's all you guys need, honestly. I was just like, okay, cool, thank you. A professor that doesn't just expect me to show up because they're a professor.
It was like our computer science.
Yeah, our computer science professor.
Like he said,
first day, he goes...
He had one question.
Do you know... Well, at first it was...
No, it was, is an iPhone a computer?
Yeah.
Those who say yes it is, raise your hands. Those who say no, then raise your hands.
Yeah. The people that said no, I expect you to show up every day of this semester.
People who said yes?
Follow-up question. Do you know what Linux is? Because if you so much as know what it is, much less know how to use it...
You don't need this class.
You don't need to show up to this class for any more than test days.
Yeah. Celtic Knight says, evening.
Hello, hello.
I still want that side. Still right one of them.
Yeah, good for you. Devour my soul. I hope I go well with salt.
But this is, I never went to university. I just high school. That's okay. I'll be honest. I didn't graduate.
Might want to clarify that statement.
Like university.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like I'm a high school grad, and I went to university for a little while, and then had a mental breakdown.
Yeah, that's when the depression really kicked in.
And anxiety was so strong that I couldn't bring myself to go to class, so I'd have a panic attack just thinking about it, which kind of makes it hard to, do well.
To actually function.
So after that, I withdrew.
And for a while, it was, here in the States, very necessary to have a degree. It's not really staying that way. That's very much changing, especially in the last, 10 years. It's now kind of returning to the, I don't care what you have in terms of pieces of paper, show me what you can do. What experience do you have? What skills do you have?
It's pretty much all about experience and skills, unless you have a really good name on your diploma.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because there are a lot more people graduating colleges now, so it's no longer as much of a indicator as it used to be.
There are a lot of fields that it's very difficult, if not outright impossible, to get a starting position in without formal education. Because a lot of them just you need experience to get experience. Hate that system. It is what it is, though. There are several fields, though, that if you can show a working knowledge of the skills and, in some cases, software programs, whatnot, that you will use on the daily in that vocation, then that counts a hell of a lot more than formal training or education or degrees or whatever. And that's starting to end up the case more and more. Which I'm actually happy to see, because I would much rather have someone with practical knowledge of a job than think they know what they're doing and show up with false ideas in their head from college, no matter what field it's in.
Well, and since, when I finally started getting my depression and anxiety under control, we decided to start LLP. So it's not like he's not going to hire me because I don't have a college degree. It's our own startup business. I don't need a degree for that.
Well, and I recognize she has more skill with HTML than I'll ever have, because I have to really think to make sense of it. The lastlevelpress.com website that currently exists, I made, ground up. It's already antiquated. It doesn't really fit our needs anymore, and I don't know how to fix it. She, on the other hand, I know if she just spends a few hours looking at tutorials, can make a far more advanced and efficient system than I ever could. And so that's why I'm just you're the web designer. I know fundamentals. She knows how to do more advanced stuff.
My one problem is that because I'm using Dreamweaver and everything is online, I cannot do it when we are using bandwidth for other things. Like, it's...
Like streaming, for instance.
Like streaming, like recording online games, like uploading and messing with our video stuff. So it kind of...
Nice and smooth.
Yeah.
I think I got my settings ironed out.
I think you did. It says, I have a teacher at my school. Let's call him Mr. Z, who you definitely love. As he puts it, he hates being a teacher, but he absolutely loves teaching. He also does everything he can to teach life lessons. We had a required final test, which is as short as possible, but our long-form final was just writing an essay on whatever you're passionate about. Hence, a 100% essay that was 10 pages, small font, on the lineage and origins of future of German tanks, World War I to World War II's last days. When he realized I actually did the reading, I answered an obscure question from the chapter on the caulking of ancient mercantile ships. He told me I could leave class for the day with no penalty.
Nice.
I didn't.
Now that is a real teacher.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that I've literally told to some professors' faces and then got summarily asked to leave and not return. And the dean didn't like it when I reported that last part. When I pointed out that they were not a teacher and this is not a class. This is a book club we're getting graded for. Certain professors don't like to hear that. In reality, though, that's what a lot of classes are. And they're not actually teaching you anything.
Menthea says, I saw no need for me to go to university. I always knew I'm not a high degree person. I was always more into handiwork jobs and go up from there. It says Dreamweaver. Who used Dreamweaver still today? Sorry, I don't want to mock you, but it's pretty outdated for today's standard. Except it's still being updated every single year.
It's still kept up.
Like, it's not old. And mostly because a lot of the ones that I found that had high reviews tended to seem kind of sketchy. I'll be honest.
It's so hard to find non-paid for technology reviews.
Like I felt very like, I'm not sure. Adobe, I at least know they put some work into it.
Their website is atrocious. Their software is good, though.
Their software is good. The website, it's actually whoever designed the layout's problem. The art direction of the website is fine. It's finding everything on it. That's the issue.
It's not ergonomically laid out whatsoever.
But the software they use to make it is fine. And the thing is, there's a lot of community-made stuff for it that's some of it's paid, but a lot of it is free. So there's a lot of stuff to work with. It is complicated, though. It's a very complicated
it's
thing.
got a stout learning curve to it.
Sheila's back. Nice. Supper's done and Mom is now dishing it out. My son and sister had to finish because of a nosebleed. Ooh, I'm sorry.
Joy.
It says 8+ boxes of books. Now into games. It says, I gotta get you two to meet each other somehow. You'd be absolute best pals. He's also told people to sit in the hall because they're more concerned with their phones than the life lessons. So they should dedicate themselves to their phones in the hall. Why bother with my lessons? It's just background noise after all. Dripping with sarcasm.
And yet, I'm sure there are some that will be like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, so it says, once you brute force your way through the UI of Adobe, you can do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much why I got it, because of that exact reason.
It's a very flexible system, because like we actually, in our computer science class in college, we were each in the same class, taught how to use Dreamweaver.
It was a much older version of Dreamweaver.
Yeah, it was a far older version
and I
than
have to admit,
is currently on the market.
The current version of Dreamweaver...
I actually like the old UI more, if I'm honest.
They went the way of Microsoft Word, which is to say the
Complicate
UI...
shit, hide it under tabs unnecessarily.
Hide it under a tab and then a right click once you're in a certain view to get to it. So I got overheated, which happens to my dad and brother also. Gotcha.
Not fun. Happens to her, too.
Yep. Menthy says, as a web page dev myself, I really recommend moving from Dreamweaver to Typo 3. Has a hard curve learning it, but what you can do with it after you learn it is so fast and powerful. I'm pretty sure Dreamweaver is the same way, though, isn't it? How much is Typo 3, then? Because if it's expensive, then it's a no, because we don't have the money to spare. If it's cheap.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
No, it says he also gave me the okay to yell at a kid who knocked over a desk, made a massive scene, and didn't even pick up the desk. He thought peer pressure would be more effective than some executive punishment. What a guy.
Yeah.
Noah, I like this teacher of yours.
Sounds like a cool guy.
Typos.
Because we've had several people, you know, with good intentions, mind you,
Well,
recommend all
free
kinds of
open
different
source.
stuff.
Okay, then I might give it a try.
Yeah, that's worth looking at then.
Yep.
It's just, as soon as anyone hears we have tech problem X, suddenly all the IT people come out of the woodwork. So I've just developed a habit of skepticism whenever anyone says, "Oh, this will help," and 9 times out of 10, it doesn't at all.
I will look into Typo 3 though, because it's
Yeah, if it's free, I mean,
if it's free open source, then I'll definitely.
yeah, no cost to check it out. It's like, I know there's some people that still run, like, very successful YouTube channels that still, to this day, rely on Lightworks, for instance. I'm like, okay, more power to you. Hell, at this point, it's probably a superior choice to Power Director. I hate that program so much. I regret everything.
Well, see, the problem is just like with the website design software, it had high,
Yeah, it was highly reviewed.
and then we didn't realize how sketchy it was.
I've essentially written off tech review sites. I've yet to find a single one whose word I can trust.
It says he also lets kids use their phones in class go on uninterrupted and will help the lesson entirely to make sure they're enjoying their phones. He just lets the kids fail themselves, and even lets kids who turn in late work give themselves grades on what they honestly believe they deserve. The dude is the pure definition of a free-range teacher, and the students who actually pay attention are much better prepared for life than everyone else.
Good.
Yep.
Welcome to the real world, kids. Because I find that is a far more effective strategy than, the teachers that flirt with the legal line when it comes to, confiscating phones and stuff. Because that's theft of property. You cannot do that. Some teachers get it in their head, well, I'm a teacher, I can do whatever I want. No, you fucking can't.
Matthew says if you are good with Dreamweaver, there's nothing wrong with it, and you can do anything with it. Typo 3 is more like the Linux content management system.
Ah, gotcha.
Gotcha. So I've been playing through Rage and loving it.
I absolutely loved what part of it I played. And, like I said, I'm probably going to restart that series, just because, it was in the middle of that series is when I went through my, content creator existential crisis, and I ended up changing my screen name and all that. So it's got some excess strings attached that I kind of want to cut and start over clean from. Plus, at this point, that was so many months ago that I kind of forgotten the details of what I was doing in game.
The battle rages on. Stand up and show your strength. Battle. Fight.
Oh god, no!
It says, I can't tell you much about the rituals that save Ascenian people, but I can absolutely tell you about how to organize a society from the ground up. That's the kind of big picture learning we got, not quote-unquote big picture learning classes brag about. And Scarlet says it gets so much better right after you left it. Rage.
Yeah, I was about to start doing, alternating episodes of, going out and adventuring and then doing racing episodes. Because I remember when I very first played Rage on PS3, I loved the racing part of it. I just have, no memory of it. I just remember enjoying it.
Yep. And it says, and the teacher is totally okay with me forgetting some of the lessons, so long as I remember the live teachings. I literally stop by his office daily during the school year.
Yeah, that's like, I keep wanting to call him Professor Ayler because I looked at him more as like a collegiate level instructor, even though I had him in high school. He was very much of the mind that you either pay attention or you don't, and you pass or you don't. And he also like adapted his teaching to each student if that student cared enough about their education to actually seek him out and say like, hey, I'm having trouble with this. How can I do more with it? How can I like study this in such a way that it makes sense to me? And for instance, with me, as I've mentioned many times, me and math, we do not get along. I needed extensive tutoring just to make it through fundamental college algebra. Me and numbers just don't get along past a certain point. However, theoretical physics, like when it comes to the ideas and how they interact and stuff like that, I get the theory of physics more than most. I flounder when it comes to crunching the numbers of physics equations. And so there was a particular test that I was just like, I took it the first time, failed it, took the makeup, failed it, and I kept looking at it and going like, I understand how this should work. I just can't crunch the numbers on it. My mind just does not make sense of it. And he was just like, okay, look, like I want you to look into one of these chapters of the more advanced fundamentals of this particular thing that we're looking at. This isn't in the class lesson plan. We were never going to look at this because it's considered more advanced than necessary. If you can go through this, and I will give you 1 week to do so, and you can then essentially do a verbal test with me and explain all these theories that I'm ordinarily not going to hold high school students to, then I'll consider that a passing grade. It's a 70, that's it. It's passing though. I'm like, I'll take that deal, man. And that's the only reason that I passed that semester, is because he was willing to adapt stuff like that, so that he could tell I knew the subject material. I just couldn't crunch the math part of it. So he's like, okay, well, let's take a little weight from the math part, layer more into the theoretical part, and go from there.
So here I am doing trigonometry on my phone for the lulz.
Oh, Jesus. If I'm doing trigonometry, it's because someone has a gun to my head.
And he's still probably failing at it.
Yeah, if they're putting a gun to my head saying, solve this equation or die, yeah, I'll just take the gun and kill myself, because I'm going to die either way.
Or you could take the gun and kill them.
Yes, good.
Trigonometry.
Oh, just give it to me, man, because there's no way I'm going to do it. Let them be like, oh, yeah, here, do it yourself. Okay, pow!
No, as his teachers have never had known me well because I'm such a regular in the social studies office. It's clear which department is my favorite. Sir, what's the tangent of 45 ACP? Celtic says, okay, never get intrigued to save the world.
No.
Got it.
That would make for a very poor choice. If you'd like humanity to live, do not give me mathematics and rest the hopes of humanity upon the completion of those equations. It won't go well for anyone.
Yeah.
Now, you want to talk theory on physics? There all day long. You want to talk philosophy? There all day long. Politics, I'm right there, man. You want to talk English, classical literature, the meanings and the metaphors therein, and how they relate to the themes that have pervaded throughout the decades? I was going to say the epochs and decades, and it came out decades. All right, then. I'm right there, man. I can talk circles around a lot of people. Ask me to crunch numbers, though. I will cry.
He says, for me, stuff like math, physics, chemistry was always easy, but creative stuff I'm not made for.
I am the exact
Scarlett
opposite.
Says, I worked out the distance along the ground of a particular airport approaches by knowing the altitude, glide angle, and distance from the plane to the beacon.
That makes sense. Like, I understand the theory of that. I understand how that would work.
He just can't
Just
do
don't
it.
ask me to crunch the numbers. I know what information you should seek to, like, get the results intended. Like, that's why, to me, astrophysics are phenomenally fascinating. I love it. Quantum physics, love it. I find that stuff infinitely fascinating. I just don't get the math part of it. I get the theory. So I don't know where I was going with that, but
No, it's okay.
let's see. Let's do that Asian roots.
Okay. Will you
I want that Asian
do?
character.
Let's see. No. Do Val. Do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is one of her most classic of characters for tabletop games. If ever there was, like, an iconic self-insert, this is hers.
No, it says, I'm a polar thinker. Give me math, done. Give me a speech to write, done. Give me stuff with a little bit of math and a little bit of concept, and oops, there goes my grade. Umbra says, a very good evening.
Hello. Cheers. Thank you for coming to join us.
It says, also apologies for the resend, but I want to hear Kim's reaction to this. The saying that Mr. Z always uses is, can you meet me where I'm at? Basically, if you try even a bit, you're fine. Try a lot and you're set. Don't try and it's absolutely your fault.
Yeah. I am totally on board with that.
Yep.
That's how our Kaji Kenbo instructor in college was.
Oh, man. I
he
ended up
was-
getting hurt and still made.
Yeah, like, she
And
still
I
made,
still
was it
made
a
an
95?
A. Yeah.
Because...
Even though I had to sit out half the semester because I seriously screwed up my ankle one night.
Yeah, like, you know, anyone watching this from Texas, if you're going to Texas State, I think he's still there for at least another couple of years. Grandmaster Daniel Baker. One of the most influential figures in my life, especially as pertains to martial arts training, because the man is just a friggin' legend. Very, very talented martial artist, incredible professor, a man who loves his job so much that as a 9th degree Grandmaster of Kaji Kenbo instructs at a Texas State college and doesn't care if you're paying tuition to attend. Like, if you show up in his doors, he will instruct you. He just loves to teach, and I respect the ever-loving hell out of that. He is one of the most just true to the ethos of teaching people I've ever had the pleasure of coming in contact with, much less learning from. And the thing with him was, he did not care whatsoever how skilled you were at the martial art in question. You know, you could just flail around like an infant child. The thing that mattered to him was, are you trying? Do you care about what you're there for? Are you putting in effort? Are you paying attention? If the answer to those questions was yes, you'd ace the class. You know, 90s to 100. Because if he could tell that you were there to learn, that's all he cared about.
Celtic, so same for me, Ken. I'm more creative, but when it comes to math and physics, better let someone else save the world. Pyre says, I get the feeling Ken would be an amazing philosopher. Has no idea how things like numbers work, but could explain away astrophysics like it was a poem.
Yeah! Yeah,
Boy
that's
is
a fair assessment.
The projector malfunction.
Gotcha.
Menthea says, I always wanted to learn an instrument. The problem is, that has to do with creative stuff. No way I can do it.
I literally made a philosophy professor cry in front of a class. Not dramatically, mind you. She was sniffling, though. Because I pointed out a fundamental flaw in her favorite school of philosophy that she had never even thought of and that no one had ever posited to her. And it was rooted in Descartes philosophy, for those who are curious.
I feel kind of bad about that.
I mean, I did too, because I didn't know it was going to affect her that much. I was just like, ma'am, isn't this a fundamental flaw in this? And she was just like, at first, very defensive. And then I started expounding upon like why I felt that it was a flaw in one of the core tenets of the philosophy. And I could just watch her like almost Vietnam flashback, just kind of that like
He broke her heart.
the realization of, oh God, what I'm hearing is true. And like she just calmly just, all right, well, take another. But like it just hurt her to hear this, and she just shifted the subject immediately without addressing things. I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I just think it's wrong. That's all. I didn't know.
Yeah. No, it says, oh, Ken, did you have a speech-giving communication class when you were in high school?
In high school,
I did. In high school.
One was offered at my school. I did not take it, however.
We had to at mine. They also taught us how to write a resume.
Pretty much all of our English classes in my high school required speaking in front of a class, so it was sort of like
Unofficial.
already in the thing. There wasn't like a class dedicated to it. It was just kind of integrated into other classes. There was a more formalized speech and presentation class, though. I didn't attend it.
Shield says, finally back with 3 hard and 2 soft tacos.
Nom.
Pizza Boy says, wow, you're heartless. He didn't mean to hurt the teacher.
I didn't mean it. I mean, I meant what I said. I didn't mean to like make her cry.
Hurt her. Pyro says, I seem to have the unique skill of making various grunts and hand gestures and random strings of words that have no right to be in a sentence together, and yet people know what I'm on about.
You don't stand a chance.
What's weird is, like, I'm sort of one of those, like, linguistic chameleons, because, like, I have, now at this point, a fairly refined voice that I just sort of slide into when I'm on camera. And that's not to say that I'm, like, putting on a fake voice or anything. It's just there's a manner of speaking that I've adapted as my on-screen persona. And it's a little more of a, like, projected, as far as voice, version of my manner of speaking as compared to, like, my daily life. Thing is, though, if I'm around certain people, my speech patterns, my, like, physical habits and stuff, they'll adapt to the norms that I'm around such that I can communicate as effectively as possible with people, and I do it on a subconscious level. It's funny, after having studied psychology in college, like, from a removed perspective, seeing that, like, happen to myself without making the conscious effort to do so.
Yeah. So is Stalker Mode engaged?
Like, I was just kind of like that. Just this afternoon when I was calling the gunsmith that I was going to have take a look at my Mosin to inspect it and make sure that it's range safe and that it doesn't friggin' explode the first time I try to shoot it. He was a guy that had one of those, like, educated manners of speaking, yet still carried on a heavy accent, like a Texan drawl in his voice. And I could just immediately feel my own voice starting to do the same thing, just so that there's, like, the commonality of linguistics, so that I could communicate most effectively. And it's funny, like, I never probably would have given that any conscious thought if it weren't for the fact that, in psychology you start looking at stuff like that.
Noah says, my school had a mandatory class on vocab choice and speech giving, split one semester normal English and one semester communications. The one practical class, and guess what? It was canceled. I was the last class to take it. It literally made me who I am today in terms of speaking and discovery.
Yeah, we actually had an intro to psychology class in my high school. I loved it. It's the reason I minored in psych in college, because I loved it so much in high school.
Pizza Boy, tomorrow is Fallout Day.
Yep.
Tomorrow we will be playing Fallout.
I don't know if I'm going to continue the story or just do more exploration or stuff. We are going to play Fallout, though. I just don't know what I'm going to do in it.
Noah says, dude, same. On stream with videos, like pretty rowdy and talkative and loud. In person, I'm really just average, kind of quiet, and always have a random fun fact about something. And very pale. Very pale.
Oh, yeah, so am I. I'm usually a very quiet person. Like, people constantly have to tell me to speak up when we're in public. Especially because, like, when we go to restaurants,
You can't hear
I have a
the
very...
rumble of the music.
Yeah, I have a very, like, low resonant voice, and because that's the most... like, if you're looking at a waveform, low sounds are sort of the most, like, crowded in any given area, especially if there's music and the murmur of people talking. A low sound, like the sound of my voice, gets very easily lost in that. So I have to project more whenever we're out in public, and I always feel like I'm friggin' yelling just to get heard, because usually I speak very quietly. And I don't speak very frequently either. Like, people have thought I hated them just because I hardly ever looked at them, I hardly talked to them, and I'm just like, no. I just don't talk much, man.
Matthew says, for me, the hard part of being creative is that often you construct something that makes sense in the end from pure chaos of painting. I'm good in woodworking because you have a given form and make other forms out of it that fit other parts, like a puzzle. It's logical. Celtic Knight wants to know about when Fallout will be tomorrow. Probably after dinner.
Yeah, probably, I would say, around the 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. range. Wednesdays we don't have an exact time for. It's generally considered like a later stream.
Yeah.
So I'd say late evening.
Scarlett says, if I do give my speech thought, I can usually connect tweet out info to my channel. You need to know a decent amount about them, though. Ghost of, I know that feeling. And I kind of adapt the accent of the people that are around me or talking to me. Kind of creeps some people out, but I don't even need to. Apparently, I also adopt a British accent once in a while. Not that multiple people have mentioned it.
Yeah, I did that once when one of my cousin's friends was visiting.
On purpose. So they betted him that he couldn't do it.
Well, no, this is a different one. That one was intentional. And I spent so much time with them that over the course of like 2 days, I just started very subconsciously and rather subtly starting to put on a little bit of an English accent. And at the end of those 3 days, suddenly people are like passing us on the street, just, oh, the two of you came from England. That's cool. And I'm like, no, it's just and so it's just, I just adapt to the sounds that I hear around me.
These voices Fallout Wednesday? Yep. Most of the time, unless something happens, we are doing Fallout on Wednesday.
Yep. And that'll continue for the foreseeable future, because I'm going to, even though I think I'm getting pretty close to the end of the main story, I'm going to do the DLCs after that. So that'll go on for a while.
Prior says, the camera uses the power of the epilepsy to compel you to speak. And Scarlet says, low frequencies travel the longest but are the hardest to hear. Note says, Mr. Z teaches a top group class called Issues and Answers, and it's just a semester on nothing but pondering life's issues. I just want to graduate, but man, if I wouldn't fail to take it twice. Not actually. Celtic says, trying to figure out time since I'm in New York.
We're on Central Standard Time, so I think that puts us an hour or two ahead of... Yeah. I think you add a couple of hours to get your time as compared to ours.
Which means, unfortunately, it's going to be kind of late.
Yeah. So I think that would make it like 9 or 10 p.m. for you.
We will, however, be exporting it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All of these get archived on the channel.
Yep. Now, it says, people say I sound Canadian because I like to be as approachable as possible with a hint of joking irony, so I throw in a lot of A and buds, and just part of how I speak more recently to make myself more approachable. And apparently now I sound Canadian. I guess the Northerners are on to something.
Oh, yeah, bud.
So it says, I caught myself saying y'all a few times. It's not my fault, I swear.
Probably our influence.
Well, sorry.
Well, and it's funny because when I was a kid, I had a fairly pronounced country drawl. And in high school, because a lot of the people that I hated in my high school were like the cliched, judgmental, hardly educated about the real world country hicks.
It's okay, calm down. It's alright.
I just, like, I was a very angry child in high school.
Save says, bye all. Time for dinner. Enjoy.
Alright, enjoy. So,
it'll actually probably be time soon.
for us, yeah, pretty soon.
So
I made a lot of efforts to distance myself, even in how I looked at myself, and the mannerisms that I chose to keep perpetuating from them. And so, trying to get away from like the friggin' classist, racist, judgmental assholes that I grew up around. I wanted nothing to do with them, so I even made the effort of changing my speech patterns and trying to strip as much of the drawl from the way that I spoke as possible.
He still has it, though.
Yeah, I recognize I still have a little of it, and the thing is, in the last couple of years, I've thought about it a little more critically and sort of like accepted my country, because
who we are.
Well, and it comes down to this. I didn't get my accent from those people. I got my accent largely from my mom, because she still speaks with a pretty pronounced country accent.
I love your mom, but she's definitely got herself a country doll.
And so does my grandpa.
Yeah.
My grandma not so much, and my other grandma not so much. And my dad, he has a little, not much of one though. And honestly, I never really, this is going to sound worse than it really is, I didn't really speak with my dad all that much as a kid. So I never really conversed with him all that much. So I didn't really pick up speech habits from him.
Yeah.
I conversed all the time with my mom. Like, she and I can talk for hours. So I picked up...
Confirmed.
Yeah.
It's true.
Especially
Absolutely
on the phone.
true.
If we haven't seen each other in a while, we will talk for hours.
I'll be sitting there next to him, wanting to talk over dinner, and he'll just be talking to his mom for 3 hours,
Yeah,
and
like,
then I'm like, we're home, and I'm like messing on my computer, and they finally hang up, and I'm like, can I talk with you now?
like, my mom and I, we have a fantastically positive relationship. Like, I can talk with her about anything for hours at a time.
Yeah, no, says, actually, you don't sound very southern at all. You fit in fine up here, actually.
And
Ghost says, I say y'all way too much. No such thing, especially since you're moving to Texas.
The thing is, though, like, in the last few years, I've started looking at it because I got my accent more from people that I do like and respect.
It's okay to actually have it.
I've kind of accepted that, yeah, I do have a few things that I pronounce in a more... Oh, God, I just flipped off the edge! Like, country drawl sort of way. I've purposely allowed myself to slip into that a little
She's
more.
like, wait!
Yeah, I know, just like, oh, God, no! Like, I say y'all now. And there was a few years I purposely would fight the urge to say that. And I would say stuff like, you guys, or something like that.
We say y'all.
Yeah, now I'm like, you know what? If it's my knee-jerk impulse to say y'all, I'm gonna freaking say y'all.
There's no reason not to. Scarlett says, would it be possible to get your mom on stream or a video sometime? I'd love to hear what she has to say.
I don't know how comfortable she would feel with that, just because she worked in law enforcement for so long, she doesn't necessarily like to appear in any sort of media. Like,
I mean, we might be able to get, like, a voice call with
you can... Actually, you can hear her voice in a few short places on a TV show that I think was it County Lockup, I think?
I think so.
It was one of those, like...
They hated her.
Oh, God, they hated her so... She almost got the show canceled.
Yeah.
'Cause it was one of those shows that's, like, about what's happening on the inside of a correctional facility. Specifically at an intake facility for people that just got arrested. And when that show and their crew came to the Travis County facility in Austin, she was the on-shift sergeant for the most active shift, and therefore the one that they wanted to have the cameras on to see all the show.
Yeah, because that's where the interest was.
Oh, yeah. And she wouldn't let them get away with anything. Anytime a fight would start, or she would make them leave. And it's not because she was, like, trying to hide law enforcement brutality. No, it's because having the cameras there excites people. It gets people worked up. It causes problems. Therefore, it will get people hurt, officers and inmates alike. And she's not having that.
Because everybody wants to show off
Oh, yeah.
with the camera.
Everyone wants to show off with the camera. Inmate and officer alike. And she's like, no, I don't care. I give less than a shit about your fucking show. Get off. And they hated her. They called her that white bitch. And, it was just like, no, I'm not letting you get anybody in my charge hurt, whether it's people with a badge or without. I don't care. And so, because the season that they were filming her shift on was a pretty weak season, because they didn't get to see much of the most exciting stuff, the show almost got canceled because of her. And she never let herself appear on camera. You can hear her, like, shouting in the distance on a few things. She never appears on the show, though. So that's a little thing. You can, however, if you're curious, like if people want to see people, like, about my family.
Matthias says, question from a non-native American speaker. Is it just me, or is the New York accent weird? If you're talking the NYC accent...
It's heavy.
It's a bit...
It's very different from most of the rest of the U.S.
It's got some odd sounds to it that other places don't really have.
And doesn't it come primarily from a mixture of... It's like Irish and Italian are the two other languages that influence the New York accent most, isn't it?
I think so.
If I recall correctly.
But it's... Nope.
Because it's...
that's my dad.
Okay. Because the New York accent is fairly similar to the Boston accent.
On stream. I'm on stream. Well,
Chat says hi, Vi's dad.
everybody says hi to you. You're heading home? Be home in... Okay, got it.
Cool.
Alright, then bye. 30 minutes.
Alright, cool. So that's our time limit.
We only have like
a little less than 30 minutes so that we can prep to go to dinner with him.
Bye, Vi's dad. That was howdy, sir. Everybody's saying hi. I knew it.
I figured.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's one that I've allowed myself to say more often now than I used to, is howdy. Because my mom says howdy all the time.
Oh my god. That is her default greeting.
Oh yeah, for anyone.
Don't even lie. We both know. We
Oh,
know
yeah.
the truth there.
And she's got this little thing that I picked up as a kid, and I purposely put away for a while. Because again, I associated all things like country drawl with negativity of like wanting to leave the town that I couldn't stand, even though it was more about some of the people that lived in it instead of everything about it. And I've since come to realize that I was painting with too wide a stroke at the time, and I've since come to grips with
So
that.
what are you... What?
It's the fact that when I greet people now, I'll sometimes use her greeting that I picked up from her as a kid, which is howdy howdy.
Yep.
Like, I do that a lot now.
And it says, also, is it bad that I'll even address people a few years older than me as sir or ma'am? I think I'm still a bit too formal, but I like to consider it more respect.
I address people my own age as sir, ma'am.
No, it says, I say howdy too. Am I a taxaboo? If you
Sure.
want to be, if you want to be, you can be a taxaboo.
Like, to me, it's
I
not...
use howdy a lot also in the online games I play.
Ah, yeah. To me, the sir or ma'am thing, like, I know to some people it's a sign of, like, deferring to age. And I recognize that, and that holds validity in the places where that's, like, the culturally accepted truth of it. To me, though, and the way I was raised to look at it, is it's not a deference to age. It's a sign of respect, no matter how old the person is. Like the old, like, oh, don't call me Mr. Johnson, that's my dad. I'm like, if I'm calling you sir, it means I respect you.
Yeah. So it says, that's a case of beer. The Mythbusters would have the guy whose thumb goes off during a shoot by the others a case of beer. He's never had to buy. Adam was almost always buying.
I can see that.
Yep.
Adam Savage seems like he loves this technology too much to turn it off.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah. I say yeah and y'all and...
Is yeah considered a southern
I don't
thing?
know.
I say it all the
I
time.
think it's the way like the tones. How do you say it?
Like, sometimes if it's more like yeah.
Like, yeah. Just, like, there's a bit of that sound to it. So it says, Pizza says, everyone in England says sir. Yeah. It says, yep, sir is always about respect. I learned that really early working at security. It says, I'll do that too. With my age, sir, ma'am is more joking. But for me, I just do all need still respect. I could be meeting someone's older sister, they're still ma'am, or seeing a good old friend for the 900th time a year, they're still sir.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Like, especially when it comes to answering questions. I almost always reply with yes, sir.
Or,
Like-
yes, ma'am. Like, when my dad asks me to do something, it's always, yes, sir. It's
Like
like
your-
one word.
It's
It's the
YESSIR.
Yes. It's yes, sir. Or yes'm. That's a very southern thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
yes'm.
Yes'm is a very southern thing. I don't do that one. That's
I
even
only
more
do it-
southern than
yeah,
mine.
That's more southern than mine, but I've heard it a lot.
Oh, yeah, I've heard
I
a
don't
lot of
do
my
it.
friends call
I say yes, ma'am. Like ma'am.
Yeah, like, that's the one that I do. Yes, ma'am. Where it's got that little twang to it.
Yeah, but yes'm is a very,
Oh, God. No.
very southern. Is a very southern thing.
The battle rages on. Stand up and show your strength.
Especially
I was
with...
just saying, I was at a camp and there was a counselor who was just so confused by kids responding to his orders with yes, sir. It's like, well, honestly, if you got respect, then
And I think that's probably why, come to think of it, you and I always end up on very friendly terms very quickly with waitstaff at restaurants.
yes, we do.
Because I'm always very respectful of them. Because one, like, you know, I've worked their job.
I always say,
And-
could I please have?
Yeah,
Or,
and-
thank you so much. You know, things like that. And I feel like we always say,
Or
yes,
like, you know,
sir, yes,
do you-
ma'am, thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, or like they'll refill my drink instead of just like, I'm just like, oh, thank you, sir. And,
Yeah,
like
and we'll
little
do
things
that.
like I do that constantly without even thinking. And we always, like, anytime we are regulars at a restaurant, we end up on very friendly terms with the waitstaff because I mean, treat them like freaking people, man.
Yeah. Nathan says, in Germany we say service instead of howdy. Funny story behind it. It comes
Really?
from the old word serva, which means slave and servant.
Oh, jeez, it's kind of dark origins.
Scarlet sends a link I know you're into voice acting, so here's a really good panel of voice actors.
Cool. Doesn't the, like, anglicized sir come from the old word sera, which was for, like, addressing people of nobility?
Right?
Isn't that where that comes from?
No, it says, God, yeah. People who just order wait staff around like they're slaves bother me so much.
I know, man.
I'm like, they're just normal people looking to get, you
Yeah.
know, to have a job. I mean,
Treat people in the service industry with respect. They do a hard job every day. Don't take advantage of them. They're people.
her ears are a bit off.
I think that's the hair. Oh, color-wise. Yeah, they are. They're a little, like...
They're too brown.
Yeah. I need to lighten them a little.
Sorry, that's just me noticing things with that.
Well, you know I have the perfectionism of
I know.
character making.
Well, she is my character. Now it says, my family knows waiters several counties over because we do, get this, the miraculous deed of being nice. I know.
Yeah.
Pizza Boy
Imagine
is
that.
showing us the new Twitch emoji of Twitch RPG, which is a sword.
Cool.
It's pretty cool looking, actually.
Oh, nifty.
But yeah, we're nice. We tip well, provided they, you know, do at least a standard job.
Yeah.
We only tip less than is usual if they do something like ridiculously terrible.
Yeah, if things are just like abhorrently terrible, I'll tip less than 15%. Usually it's 15 or above.
Yeah.
And with servers that I really like, I'll do 30%.
Yep. Now it says there's a special place in hell for people who are rude to retail and restaurant staff for no good reason. Well, like yesterday, we gave a serious tip to our waitress at Chewy's.
Oh yeah, 'cause she was awesome.
Lenny?
Because we asked for Lenny.
Lenny? She was just such a sweet. Like, she was on top of our drinks. She gave us. She gave us extra salsa, extra chips. Like, it was just.
Was completely cool with the fact that she had to kind of like make particular requests of the recipe for her enchilada, because since she has her, you know, it's not an allergy, it's a sensitivity. It's easier to just say allergy
intolerance.
though. Of corn products, then she had to have the enchilada made with like flour tortillas instead of corn, you know, stuff like that. And she was just completely cool with it. And like some waiters, for some reason, like
They don't like it when you alter things.
yeah, and like they suddenly act like annoyed that oh no, I've got to write an extra line of things. And like she was really cool with it.
If you don't know
and-
how to input it, that's fine. You ask
yeah,
your manager.
exactly.
But
And then when we were leaving, like I still had some queso left, and so I just asked for a little container to put what was left in the
She
queso
brought-
thing
she
into
bought
that.
2 other containers, along with the one for that, full of their salsa and fresh chips.
Yeah, like this is
I was just like,
way more than I asked for. I'm just like, wow, you're sending me home with that? Cool, I know what I'm snacking on later.
And I was just, do you guys ever get a new waiter for the first time, and they're just on it the whole time?
Yes.
You remember them like a month later.
Oh yeah.
Menthia says the story behind calling it service is that you devote yourself to the person you greet. So you call yourself to serve the person you greet and don't want to harm him.
Huh. Interesting.
Gotcha. So it's more saying you're the
Oh
servant,
well, that's
unless they're the servant for you.
that's like it's a very English phrase that's also still used in America in some places. The at your service.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of thing. It's just cutting the at your off of it.
Yep.
And if anyone's curious, as we said of her self-iconic insert character, this is mine.
And then there's also, I say gotcha
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Contractions are a very
Gotcha.
common Southern thing.
Don't ya? That's a Southern thing.
Don't you?
Sheila says, my family got looked at weird when we go out as a family. They stack the bushes, and if one on the little makes a mess, he would ask for things to clean it up. My grandmother went off on the manager because he was yelling at the waitress as we were cleaning up the mess one of us made. Also, we always tip if they are allowed tips, no matter where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I love the steak and shake buffalo sauce, so I asked if I could take what was left of it, what I had home. Waiter brings over the giant squeeze bag of sauce with the dispenser machine and tells us to take it, no cost.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much how we are with our
Oh, especially at Chili's.
our favorite chilies. They know us by name.
Yeah, there's certain of their like hostesses up front that we walk in and they're just like, y'all don't need menus, do you? Okay, go
It's
sit down.
Like they'll ask, "Do you want a menu today?"
Yeah.
And we'll be like, "Nah, we don't need it." And then sometimes when there's a new hostess and they don't know, like one of our guys will come by and like, "You don't need those."
Yeah. Or like a new waiter will like take our order or something. And
we'll be about to, and then one of
our regulars comes over and just like sets our drinks down, and they're just like, I hadn't even. How did you?
And then they're just like, oh yeah, they're the regulars. We tell you about them all the time. I'm like, are we gossip stuff?
Apparently we are.
Like, I don't know, man. But yeah, we know at least 5 of the waiters there by name, and they know us by name.
And the guy who is
more also recognize us on site.
The guy who is now the general store manager for that particular Chili's location, we have known him since he was a starting server at that location, and seen his like career rise up to pretty much running that franchise.
Yep, it was really cool. Pizza says VIP, pretty much.
More or less.
Cynthia says, I love old word meetings or meetings behind stuff like salute, like a salute and lifting your hat. This is basically make life for waiters easy and they'll love you.
Yeah.
I have the usual with one server at Steak and Shake. People just defer us to him when he's on staff. He serves us even when we're not in his section.
Yeah, that's how we are with some of our Chili's people.
Jill says, sounds like Denny's that my grandparents would go to all the time, even though they're closing down before they announced it. Yep. And it was funny because there was actually a time where we got sat in one of our usual sections.
Oh, yeah.
But our very, our most usual decided no, even though it wasn't his section, he was going to serve, so they had a little bit of a tiff.
They had to fight over who was going to get us.
Danny, the one who lost the tiff, came over and he's like, next time, guys. Next time.
Well, he knew the other guy was about to go on a week-long vacation, so he's like, I'll get you next week.
Yeah, and it was hilarious. It was like, whoever brought us our drinks first. They said, no, I got it for him first. They're my table now. They're my table.
That was pretty cool.
But yeah, they're great people. And, you know, you treat them like people, and they'll treat you like people.
Yeah.
And
is measured by results.
there's no reason not to, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, pretty much anybody that's just doing their job, like, treat them with respect, man. Unless they disrespect you, there's no reason not to.
Poor elephant.
It's an elephant! Like, that's just an elephant.
I don't know, he has horns on his head.
I think those are just part of the harness thing.
Are those just the harness?
Yeah. Like, I know there are trolls and stuff, even though this is supposedly an analog of real-world Earth.
Yeah. Sheila says, that sounds like my mom's best friend. Left one place and went to another one. All of her regulars follow her. They always ask for her. If she goes to a different place, they will follow her. Sarah says, I like this chick's pike. Yep.
Yeah, Hilda's got a really cool design. She's one of the only females in Soul Calibur that has armor that makes sense.
Or at least
3 perfects in a row!
No, it says, I have a friend who has a regular at Subway. Subway. How do you go to Subway that often?
Oh, we had people that were regular, because I used to work at Subway, for those who don't know. We had people that would come in every day.
Yeah, Pikachu with the PS4 says, howdy.
Speaking of,
Hey.
we were just talking about etymology and such
Sarah
language.
says, that would be my go-to weapon in the wasteland. Pizza Boy says female Santa.
Pole arms, man. Keep yourself as far away from things with claws and teeth as possible.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't catch all.
I'm telling you, he's hard of hearing
He's hard
or
of hearing.
something.
I know that response is supposed to show that he's like a smartass, like not paying attention to someone's smack talk. If your character's dialogue isn't smack talk, though, it just comes across like Zvi's an idiot.
He does seem like an idiot. Especially the whole, you look nice and tough.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't catch all that. You didn't catch the compliments?
Okay, then.
Like, okay. Oh.
Thunk.
I think this might have to be it, though.
Yeah, as soon as I finish this run through,
Then we are off for dinner.
Yep.
With my father.
Oh god, ow! Don't your head! but me? Punk?
I have to admit, I really like,
Oh god!
oh, what's his name?
Ow.
What's his name? Siegfried. I like his headbang. Stompy attack.
You mean this one?
Yes. Yes, the headbang stomp attack.
I'll headbutt you, you prick.
Pirates has been working various ship cart designs and space engineers lately, trying to make a sort of junky-looking, sort of flat-pack ships, kind of like Star Wars YT series.
Cool.
So, ridiculous modular ships, but looking junky at the same time.
I love the YT series. They're my babies.
So it says, just get one of those 5-foot spades and get the blade into a triangle. Ta-da! And sit on it. Pikachu says, my go-to weapon in the wasteland would be a bow staff with a string, so it could be a bow and a blade on one end. Matthew says, and before I forget, a second meaning of service can also be a slang from the Slavic people that used their origin as a greeting to know their kind because they were sold by Romans as slaves and
Wow.
wares.
Interesting, I never knew that.
Now says, I'm always a fan of the blades don't need sharpening rule. Also, discuss. When you're reading a post-APOC book and there's a nice camp of survivors, do you guys also have the, okay, where do you eat these corpses?
Yeah. Where's your cellar full of corpses?
It says, yeah, the word Slav comes from a word for slaves, etc.
I wondered about that. I didn't know if that was true.
Probably not tonight.
Probably not tonight. We will tomorrow, though.
No, it says, since it's a bit early, maybe another Soul Count stream when you guys return? These play and talk streams are great fun.
Yeah, these sort of end up like gaming podcasts, in a way.
This is really kind of Game Grump style.
It really is.
Like, we just talk about whatever comes to mind.
I have fun with it, though, because it's a very relaxed format. Because, like, when we do Fallout and XCOM, I like to stay focused on the game. And I'll purposely at times, and I'm sure some of you guys have noticed this, I'll, like, redirect conversation to the game again if I feel like we're getting way off topic on, you know, the stream series that I like, you know, to stay focused that way. With these, I'm just like, it's a fighting game. Take it as it is.
Noah says, hi, how are you? You eat people! Yeah, that's kind of... Noah says, yeah, Doc confirms that, too. He's an authentic Slav, TM.
Huh. Interesting. I never knew that.
Pyro wants to know what time we're streaming tomorrow. Probably somewhere between 6 and 8-ish.
Yeah. Central Standard Time. Which would mean roughly...
Scotland.
Well, like... probably an hour or two later than the current hour today.
Yeah.
That's about as close as I can... Because we don't have a hard and fast streaming time for Wednesdays yet.
Scarlett says, strange meat is people. Pizza Boy says, Silent Green. Yep.
Like, what is that
or
one?
the pink paste in
Yes.
Fallout 4.
I am sure that shit is people. Oh, God!
You can't lie to me. That stuff is people. It has to be people.
There was that one. Was it Andale? I think was the name of the town. It's like a little town in Fallout 3. That
I don't like that place.
thing is, I had
and
never.
they'll like fight you to dinner, and then they'll try to kill you.
I didn't have a whole lot of experience with the post-apocalyptic genre
until
I played Fallout 3. Like I had seen the original Fallouts when my dad played them. Other than that, though, and that was years ago when I was a kid. Fallout 3 was really one of my first adult introductions to the post-apoc genre again. And even then, with so little experience with the genre, I got that, like, creepy, like, something isn't right.
This is Stepford.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was an episode of Supernatural, and what was it? Was it season 1 or 2?
That was season 1 with the Scarecrow. Yeah,
I hate
that's season 1.
Like, it's too nice. Like, sometimes when people are just a little too friendly, and, like, their smiles are just a little too wide.
Red flag!
Nobody smiles like that all the time. I'm
and
sorry.
the thing is, though, at the same time, like, as much as that's true, one of the reasons that I left the corrections field is because I felt myself getting that reaction to anyone that was nice to me for any reason. My response when someone would start talking to me in a nice way was,
what do you want from me?
In my mind, all I'm thinking is, what do you want? What are you trying to get from me? And I'm like, oh, God, that's so cynical and jaded. I don't want to think that way. Like, unless serious red flags are going off, I don't want to prejudge people that harshly like that. And it's what that job field was leading me to, because it's how you start to think out of, like, you know, defense of just, especially in corrections. It's not quite as prevalent, I don't feel, for like patrol officers. Corrections, though, the inmates inside have nothing other to do than to try to like improve their situation, which is understandable. So they're constantly trying to game you and get something from you. So it's just constant manipulation. And so every time anyone talks to you, it's you have to always start looking at it through the lens of, are they talking to me about, you know, the face value subject, or are they talking to me about wanting to like get something on the sly? So you start seeing everything in that lens, even away from work, and I'm just like, I don't want it.
Yep. Sorry.
So that's why I left.
Yep.
Alrighty.
All right. Do you want to do a quick versus and see what happens?
Sure.
Okay. You know, I'm gonna lose. Like,
Let's do versus Blair versus Blair. 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Round time 60 seconds. No CPU. Stat match.
Welcome back to the stage.
Let's see. Yeah.
stop button.
And just so people
I did.
can
I
see.
pressed the start button.
Right, you have to turn the controller on.
No, that's this button.
Yeah, the PS thing. There you go.
You told me last time not to push the PS button,
Well,
so
you,
I was
you
like...
only push it once to activate the controller. After that, you don't touch it.
Oh.
Unless you want to go to the PS3 menu.
Why would you praise it to us?
I'm not very good as him. I just want to show him off for people that
No.
are
How
curious
do
about
I-
his inclusion in this game.
We should make him his black outfit.
I don't think you can customize his colors in this, sadly. Yeah. And for a clarification on why I'm showing him off in this, the Soul Calibur games have, as a tradition since I think Soul Calibur 2, like several consoles ago, included guest characters
Yes! Bloodthirst
from
Concerto.
other games, and even other franchises entirely. Like in the previous Soul Calibur game, they had Darth Vader and Yoda and Starkiller. In another one, they had, depending upon the console one was playing on, because it was released on several.
Well, she doesn't understand anything but Infernal and Common.
That's true.
Ow! Don't shoot me. What's wrong with you, meanie? I don't remember how to... Okay, what... Wait. What is the...
X is guard.
X is guard.
Circle is like melee, like unarmed. And then I want to say square is like mid to low strikes. And
Grabby.
grabs are that, or that's the quicker version to do it.
That?
Thanks!
You'd already hurt me, so I didn't know the controls. Okay, we can go down.
And there was, dependent upon console, one where I think Spawn, Heihachi from the Tekken series,
Wait, really?
or Link, of course from Legend of Zelda, were playable characters. And who else has shown up in one of these as
Wasn't
guest
there
characters?
Raiden?
No. Raiden was in PlayStation All-Stars.
Oh.
Um,
Ow. Wait. Which one's black?
X, yeah.
No, not the... Ow!
Oh god! Ow.
That's
jeez.
for that. No, not that one. Ah! No, move, dodge. It didn't work.
I feel terrible now. That screeching, dying sound.
Well, yeah, you just killed a 14-year-old kid. How do you feel?
I thought she was 15.
No, she turns 15.
Oh, okay.
She's
All right.
14.
I haven't seen her character sheet in a while, because the character she's playing as is from one of our tabletop sessions.
She's actually an NPC that...
The party just adopted.
Yeah, she got adopted. Oh,
There
wait,
we
what?
go.
What was that?
I don't know, what'd
This
you do?
lightning thing. I don't know what I did. I did something. I have no idea what's happening here. Like, legitimately, not any understanding of this game. I'm just button mash. Attack. Because I'm... No! You're killing her! No! I'm sorry, Cora!
Destiny. I feel like if I really practiced it, I could nail Ezio's voice.
Oh, you could.
I have no practice doing an Italian accent.
I want you to. Like, I legit. I want you to cosplay as Ezio. Like, this might be TMI, but I would jump you so hard. Like, it's not even. I'm not even gonna pretend.
He does have a really cool voice, especially once you get into Revelations. I love the way his
I like
voice.
his outfit. I mean, come on, look at it. Look.
His one from the first game is almost a
Oh,
little.
thank you. Thank you. You just murdered a kid. How do you feel, Ezio?
It's a statement of respect, kinda.
He didn't even close her eyes. He didn't even bother. He's just
Maybe
like,
they were already closed. I don't know.
One more.
One more.
That was...
I haven't heard the puppy yowling downstairs, so your dad's not home yet. Let's see here. You know what? Just in case anyone from Paizo should ever see this, I'll play Stealth Yell. Hit!
Yes! I like
Oh, this is the
song.
one with the Venice Rooftops theme.
Uh-huh.
Because I changed the soundtrack so that would show up more often.
I love
Because
that
I love
one.
that sound.
It's so
Creatures store and reveal its true nature.
good. Alright, so I thought she was 15. Kinsmarck 2016.
Do not take that statement out of context. Oh, you'll get me in trouble with that. That's one of those statements that's just like, the more you think about it, the worse it sounds.
How did I do that? What? No, that was not what... I don't know how I did it! I don't know how I'm doing anything. Weird purple stuff happens, but I don't know how, and...
So,
It's not fair for you to use this one against me,
I'm going very easy on you.
well, obviously, or I'd already be dead. It's Mitsurugi. If you wanted me dead, it would have been a perfect.
You're not wrong.
Like, I know this.
So prior to closing, since we do have to leave in like a couple of minutes, pretty much as soon as we hear our dog yowling downstairs.
No! I need to learn this system. I got used to Tekken.
Since I know I do want to make some videos on like how I made these characters that are replicas of things from other like franchises. Any input from chat whatsoever? Any ideas
Let me
on?
kill you one time. Just once, so I can actually try and figure out
Okay,
how this character.
I'll try to practice my guarding. How about that?
Okay.
I'll try to like parry.
Okay.
I think I remember how to parry that. Because you can like actually guard off one side. I think.
No.
Did they change that? I don't remember.
No.
So there's that guard impact that you just did. I can't remember. Ow, my neck. I need that for neck things.
What is that? Is this a different grab?
Yeah.
Oh. The triggers do different grabbies?
Yep.
I didn't know that. Do the thingy. I want to do the freaking purple thing.
Ow. So anyway,
I can't figure out how to do the purple thing.
ideas for how to format those episodes. Because the idea that I had in mind that I'm just not sure whether or not people would find interesting is to do a quick rundown of how I put them all together and to at least show screenshots of... Oh, there he goes. All right, so we got to go after this round. Like the numbers involved in like the color palettes and the gear chosen and all that, so that if people want, they can screenshot the image of those parts of the video and recreate it for themselves, and then to, as I'm showing that stuff, give a quick little rundown of like, this was the thought process involved, and then essentially show a match of that character in motion so that you can see how it all comes together. That was my idea. So, does that sound interesting to you guys? I don't know.
No, it says, take that statement out of context. Ken, 2016. Because nice, this weird purple stuff happens. Why, 2016? Matthias wants to see Ken and Vi cosplay Reinhardt and Mai from Overwatch. Or May.
I still haven't played Overwatch. I don't know who these people are.
Celtic Knight says, I want to do the freaking purple thingy! Vi, 2016. Kinky.
Ooh, my.
Now it says, re-asking because I need y'all to see this. Okay, Ken, hear me out. Once some LPers are gathered in Texas, rock band stream. Also, any further developments on the Pathfinder 101 YouTube stuff in the first play sesh?
Script for that is pretty well written. I just need to get off my ass and do it.
Yep. Pizza Boy says, did you know that Parthenax has the same voice as Mario?
Yes, I've heard that.
It was just so
that
weird.
just like the first time I heard it. Yeah, as far as first playtest, not entirely sure because
Pikachu says, go play Overwatch now.
Is like I know so little about Overwatch. Is it?
And this is Reinhardt.
I'm gonna show you how little I know. Ooh, Reinhardt looks cool.
So that's who they want you to cosplay as.
I can work with that. Like that helmet looks like a. Oh, for some reason. Okay, never. I thought the
Oh my god!
hammer was his helmet for a second.
I could do that.
Reinhardt looks like a technological version of the main character from Overlord. Overlord!
I could do that one.
That's Arctic Velma. You cannot convince me otherwise.
So? What's your point?
I'm not saying that's negative, I'm just saying. She looks like Arctic Velma.
It's because mine is the cutest character ever.
Like, I think that's... If you took Velma and put her in the Avatar universe, that's her.
Okay, we
Anyway,
have to go.
yeah, we gotta go because we heard her dad just show up and we're gotta go for dinner, so... Cheers to you guys. I'm glad you guys like these more relaxed console streams, because whenever I'm doing, especially fighting games, this is probably how it's gonna go.
Really wants you to say Overlord again.
Overlord! Chicken Chaser! I love those games. This is the first one. I heard the second one actually wasn't that good. I only played the first one in, like, wasn't there an expansion for it?
Yes.
I think so. Anyway. So, I'm glad you guys are liking this. Let me know if you have any ideas for how to format, or if you like the idea that I came up with, the original format, to do the showcase videos. Because I put so many hours into creating those that I want to show off. Call me self-centered.
It's okay.
So, anyway.
It's all right.
Looking for input, also.
We'll let you show off. It's okay.
Input as far as how the formatting of the stream, the stream itself is actually coming together when we're doing these console things. If there's any issues that you guys would like to see ironed out, again, I'm very receptive to input at this point because this is new. It may not necessarily feel like it for you guys because it's still like gameplay with us in a corner doing stuff and talking. However, the entire setup for the wiring and the software I'm having to use and all of that is all different on this end. So I just want to make sure that it's all ironed out prior to committing to any longer series in this format. So all that said, since we gotta go, cheers to everybody who stuck around for this stream. I'm Kinsmarck here at That's Full Press.
I'm Violeta.
And as always, we wish you all good gaming and Godspeed.
Bye!
Almost threw the controller at the camera.
Don't do that! Oh my god, give me that thing! Oh, jeez!
Always practice
for you.
safe Wiimoting. Alright, cheers everyone. I know, that's the meme.
I know it's a meme, okay.
The Wiimoting thing.